The economy of Francesco is not a utopia. Our cities, communities, businesses, universities, schools and offices, warehouses, forests, rivers, fields, air. These are our utopia. That is, the good place, where every day we write a new story. A great collective tale. The economy of Francesco has taught us a new relationship, a new fraternity, and suggested new words. A new spiritual spring has begun.
Dear friends, welcome back to Assisi. This is Economy of Francesco. Welcome to all of you who are connected today from many countries around the world, alone, in groups, early in the morning or late at night. Thank you and welcome to our 25th hour, the 4th EoF Global Gathering. Here is Francesca speaking, and next to me, Enrique from Brazil. And we are here with you to have a wonderful celebration time together.
Welcome, everyone. Olá a todos. Thank you so much, Francesca, and hello to our friends here in the studio, and to you all at home, of course. We wanted to open this meeting with Pope Francis, who, after his 2 hours with us in Assisi last year, left the stage as if to tell us, now it's up to you. And here we are, continuing the race to change the world by changing the economy.
Yeah, it's going to be a very intense and rich program, rich 3 hours. So please make yourself comfortable. We are going to start right away with all the experience we have gathered over the years. And we will listen to music, we will also party, while at the same time, the time for face-to-face with Francis will help us to slow down and center.
Yeah, for sure. And we will then recall some of the anniversaries celebrated this year and connect with many friends around the world. Explore economic issues with Daron Acemoglu and Academy researchers, and unveil the winners of the Stories We Are contest. Finally, we are going to listen to Pope Francis' message, which will open us to the themes and appointments of the new year.
And as always, we also remind you that translations are available here below. You can find that on the description of the main channel, the YouTube channel, the international one. So you'll find Italiano, Spanish, Português, and Français. And later, we will also find out how to interact live with us, because remember, we are on air from Assisi, from the Theatre of Sfinc Institute. So a place and a community where every day we experience a deep care of the person as a whole by combining ethical principle, scientific evidence, and clinical experience.
Broadcasting this 4th event from the Seraphic is a special opportunity for all of us to reflect on a new economy, keeping the faces of those who need help the most in our eyes and our hearts, to build a just, equitable world, leaving no one behind. And man cannot speak. The eye is not satiated with looking, nor is the ear ever satiated with hearing. Colette writes, poverty of speech is always poverty of the eye and the ear. We are destitute of words, looks and hearing, and the multiplication of words, typical of our time, amplifies their wariness. That is why a fundamental operation to be carried out today is to make old words say new and living things, and to find new words to say what appears unspeakable because it isn't released.
Words live in the air, and their sound makes them real ones. The air is light, it smells, it enlightens us. A dimension where space and time expand and welcome us without measuring or oppressing us. The sky is a space of gift. The time of the seasons, the water of the clouds, the warmth of the stars, they are all gifted. Today, we hear each other very often, but we listen too little. To hear, we only need to turn up the volume, but to listen, we need to stretch our ears. Because communicating means giving the gift of ourselves, of our time, our work, our emotions. Thus, words become real.
And now we want to listen to the real words of the economy of Francesco protagonists. And why this is possible? Because since the message of Pope Francis, many people of the economy of Francesco have taken action, and their initiatives have grown like seeds, like plants on a field. I am Luca De Carolis, and with Valentina Larcon, we are the harvesters.
Ciao a tutti.
Hello to everyone. Ciao a tutti. Hola a todos. Yes, Luca. We're like harvesters, and we went into the field. So we invite young people from Economy Francesco to tell us about their projects and stories and activities. In a few weeks, we collect more than 60 proposals from 27 countries around the world. Many thank you to everyone who applied to the harvest.
Incredible.
Some of them are seeds, like, for example, Evelyn Sanchez from Venezuela with their team. They're proposing a framework for business. And Marjorie Lewis and Ezequiel Bedena, they're proposing solutions for water conservation from IT. On this journey, we want to go in to see many different initiatives from books and projects. So let's begin with the book, La Granja de Francesco.
Gracias, Vale. Mi nombre es María Virginia Solís Guanich, de Argentina y de la Aldea de Agricultura y Justicia. Recuerdo que cuando estaba en la secundaria, en Argentina, vivía en una gran incertidumbre sobre lo que haría en un futuro. Creo que muchos de nosotros hemos experimentado una cosa similar. La única cosa que veía claramente era lo que no quería hacer. Y muchas veces lo que no queremos hacer ayuda a dar pistas de lo que queremos ser. Recuerdo una experiencia de misión en un pueblo de la provincia de Córdoba llamado Lucio B. Mansilla. El pueblo se desarrolló por la proximidad a unas salinas naturales. Se construyó un tren y un asentamiento que reunía trabajadores y familias que se dedicaban a la extracción de sal. Cuando las salinas dejaron de producir sal para ser rentables, Lucio quedó abandonado. Lo que no había terminado era la historia de las familias, sus vidas, sus amistades, su realidad. La gran mayoría se encontraba sin ninguna alternativa para trabajar y sobrevivía gracias a ayudas económicas. Una tarde, un compañero de misión me preguntó: vos, que estudiás ciencias económicas, ¿qué creés que podríamos hacer para ayudar a estas familias?
Gracias, Virgi. Gracias, Virginia. And Luca, what does this harvest time mean? So let's take a look at the diversity and richness of initiatives inspired by economy. Francesco, through 3 questions. So question number 1, what is the origin of the initiatives? How they are born? 2, as the plans are, how the initiative has a growing process. How was it? What happened there? And the 3rd question is, the day of the harvest came. So what are the fruits of the project? How are they shared with the others?
Vale, I think these are 3 great questions to start, but before starting,
Okay.
I would like just to remember that in this part, we will see startups, initiatives, entrepreneurial initiatives inspired by the economy of Francesco. So this is our main topic. And we have with us Mateusz from Poland.
Welcome, Matteo.
Hello, Mateusz. Welcome. And online, we should have Miriam from Italy and Anna from the Philippines.
Ciao, Miriam.
Ciao, guys. Can you hear us?
Ciao.
Do you hear us well? Yes?
Yeah.
Great.
Yes, loud and clear.
Fantastic.
Perfect.
Good, good. So, the floor is yours.
Mateus, go. Oh, no.
Miriam.
Sorry.
Ok, buonasera a tutti, io sono Miriam e vivo in Italia dove lavoro nella piccola società agricola della mia famiglia. Vorrei raccontarvi brevemente dei frutti del mio lavoro da contadina. Nella nostra quotidianità cerchiamo di coltivare in modo differente la nostra oppressa e devastata terra che Papa Francesco indica tra i poveri più abbandonati e maltrattati. Produciamo ortaggi biologici certificati, non utilizziamo alcun tipo di concimazione e lavoriamo solamente lo strato superficiale del suolo senza rivoltarlo. Il cibo coltivato in questo modo è sano, controllato dagli enti di certificazione, non contiene principi attivi derivanti dai pesticidi. Chi consuma questi ortaggi conosce il prodotto, la provenienza, le garanzie e ovviamente ne riconosce il gusto. Vendiamo direttamente ai clienti finali senza intermediari per dare il giusto valore al nostro lavoro. Siamo accreditati come fattoria didattica operante sul territorio con l'obiettivo di diventare luogo di accoglienza, formazione e confronto sui temi dell'agricoltura, dell'agroecologia e dell'economia locale. Il lavoro quotidiano in campo è sicuramente molto faticoso. Tuttavia il costante contatto con madre terra è fonte di rigenerazione. Nonostante le molte difficoltà, la consapevolezza di produrre cibo genuino e di lavorare con la terra e per il suo bene è certamente alla base delle motivazioni che ci spingono a continuare su questa strada.
Grazie mille Maria di essere in questo spazio con noi, veramente una gioia. And now, what about Luca? If we move to Asia, so let's welcome Anna Rose from Philippines. Anna Rose, come in.
Good day, everyone. I'm Anna from the Philippines. Please allow me to introduce my project initiative. Indigenous people in the Philippines come across several challenges. Some of the most pressing are shortage in food resources, inadequacy in clean drinking water, and the lack of livelihood. In the previous years, several indigenous women and children died due to dehydration and waterborne diseases. There are about 11 million Filipino families that do not have access to clean and safe drinking water, and there's a 101% increase in cases of food and waterborne diseases during the first quarter of 2023, with children being affected the most. Project SWAC aims to provide the indigenous people with access to clean and safe water. It strives for the relentless pursuit of the right of every human being to clean and safe water, dignified sanitation, and hygiene practices in line with the United Nations Sixth Sustainable Development Goal of ensuring the availability and sustainable management of water and sanitation for all.
Guys, this is incredible, and I'm learning a lot from these initiatives. Thank you for sharing, Anna Rose. And now I also want to mention Nurul Asnat, because of course it's not only the Philippines, but there are also other places of the world like Bangladesh in which we have difficult situations. And his project, his Step for Ocean initiative, positively impacts awareness of children, local communities and marine ecosystems. And now, Mateusz, we can move nearer to us, to Poland, right? So how has the experience been for you?
Thank you, Valentina and Luca. Thank you for having us here. Actually, I would like to take you a little bit further away to Nigeria. The farm of Francesco was born within the Agriculture and Justice Village, and this year we have completed our first inaugural farmer training that happened in Nigeria in March 2023, lasting for a week. That was made possible by Carola Cuti's award together with private partners' donations. And the training was co-created by Pax Herbal team, our Pax Herbal team delivery partner on the ground, and deliver at Holly's Wellness Center in Lagos State, Nigeria. 12 farmers, let me read their names because they are very important. They are the protagonists.
Sure.
Adebola, Christopher, David, Emmanuel, Festus, Ikena, Kehinde, Olaide, Olugbenga, Olupade, Paul, and Samson joined our training, which was structured across 3 key pillars: economics, regenerative agriculture, and spirituality. The training was harvest moment for us, but very much it was a seeding moment for the farmers trained by us.
Wow.
And already 2 of them cooperated with each other to introduce beehives to one of the farms. 3 others created their own training programs following our training, in which more than 300 people were trained so far. And last month, to celebrate those successes, we organized a community meetup of the farmers, which all of the farmers joined together with the delivery partner team, which is a real success because internet connection in Nigeria is a daily struggle. And the energy could feel in this room, sharing the stories of struggle, but overcoming those, being protagonists, was truly tremendous. So thank you to everyone that made this amazing success possible. And above all, thank you to God.
So very interesting journey, right, Valentina, into a reality that touches multiple places, right? Thank you. So thank you for this, Mateusz, for sharing with us. And now let's hear from Mexico and Uganda, Erika and Annette.
Colaboro con la cooperativa de mujeres celtales Humpa Jalotanil, que en celtal significa armonía del corazón, y somos parte del grupo de empresas de economía social y solidaria Yomolatel, ubicadas en la región Selva Norte de Chiapas. La cooperativa nace de la organización de las mujeres con la intención de crear una participación democrática en sus comunidades, dar voz a las mujeres e integrarlas a procesos económicos productivos y que le permitan a cada una de ellas autonomía dentro de sus hogares. La cooperativa Humpa Jalotanil ha sido una alternativa no solo económica, sino social, ambiental y que fomenta la formación educativa en agroecología, educación financiera, inclusión y género e innovación social. De esta forma, las socias de la cooperativa producen la cosmética artesanal y bordados de la región con el fin de preservar su cultura, crear un ciclo económico sostenible y amigable con la madre tierra. Esta forma de trabajo en las comunidades celtales se llama Lekil Kushlejal, que significa el buen vivir para muchos pueblos originarios y es una forma de cuidar nuestra casa común en el pueblo celtal.
Hello, I am Annette Diana Nanono from Uganda. I'm the founder and team leader, Farm and Art Space Community Initiative in Buunga in Masaka District, Uganda. It's a community-based organization, farmer-based, that I started this year on 6th of February. And my inspiration is from Agriculture and Justice Village, Economy of Francesco. And also my inspiration is from Farm of Francesco, who have really supported me in this space of developing my skills in regenerative agriculture, advocating for regenerative agriculture, and starting businesses that are regenerative. Thank you so much. Enjoy the event.
Thank you, Annette. Thank you, Erika, for sharing with us your stories, your startups, growing process and fruits. It's amazing the reach of diversity that Economy Francesco Live gave us to us in this period. What do you think?
Well, first of all, Valentina, I would like to make my best wishes for all these projects that we have seen.
Yeah, me too.
And then I would like to move to a musical moment.
All right.
With the collective Niado, Factory Bruce Springsteen cover by Rocky Fox.
Okay. Ciao, 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 ciao.
What a beautiful song,
Wow.
don't you think? Wow.
Amazing, amazing. Niado always touches our heart very deeply.
Indeed. Well, thank you, Luke and Valentina and all your guests. But now, Enrique, we haven't greeted him yet. Our DJ, Bishoilito from Egypt.
Alelito!
Vamos. Yeah. He has been with us last year, and we will also delight us during the program again with beautiful music and soundtrack. But now, let's try to shorten the distance and let's be heard. So, aren't you curious, my friend? Today we are writing the new words of an economy with a soul, and we want to continue doing it with you all together. So, we start asking you, which kind of words are most important to you that are slowly enriching the narrative capital of Economy of Francesco?
Exactly. So we invite you to write your keywords on social media or in the YouTube channel chats you are following us from, or send us a written or audio message via WhatsApp to this number here below, +39 35 7 69 53 54 5. briefly explaining around 30 seconds tops, okay, let's agree on that, and how those words have affected your life as change makers, scholars, or entrepreneurs. And make sure to keep interacting on all social media with our official hashtags, which are here below too, which are EoF Global Gathering, Francesco Economy, and EoF On Air 2023.
Yeah, we want to be in touch. And now, speaking of words, in the meantime, we have L.Bruni that has reached us, and he is, as we know, the EoF Scientific Coordinator, a role that means a lot. It means listening, subsidiarity, starting up processes, but also creating opportunities. So, first of all, thank you for all that. And then, Professor, what is this 25th hour? What does it represent for EoF?
Thank you. Grazie.
You're welcome.
The idea of an extra hour when the 20-hour day is over has inspired novels and movies, films, beginning with the title of a 1949 novel by the Romanian writer Constantin Virgil Gheorghiu. The 25th hour is the name.
Yes,
Why we chosen this image, this idea? Because we have consumed the 24 hours of the day, the hours that were available to us since the Earth SOS was launched more than half a century ago. It's an SOS of the Earth, of the planet, but it's also an SOS of the poor, the discarded, many indigenous people. We remember last year the SOS of many humiliated women, too many children. I cannot but thinking to the Iran situation.
Yeah, the list
today.
is long, we know.
Yes, indeed.
Too many children, and also the suffering of nature, the suffering of plants, of animals, the biodiversity of the forest, the atmosphere, and the entire planet. The hours of the day are over, but we enter into the last hour, but we are failed to notice. However, one person, more than half a century ago, understood, at least one person, maybe much more than one, understood that we were close to the end of the day. That was Don Lorenzo Milani, an Italian priest, and a true prophet of last century. He wrote in 1958 his lettera dall'oltretomba, letter from beyond the grave, to the future Chinese missionaries who would arrive, in his imagination, to Europe in the year 2000 to re-evangelize Europe. Because Europe, in the meantime, Christianity has disappeared, according to him, in his opinion. The conclusion of his letter is very strong. He wrote in Italian, non abbiamo odiato I poveri, abbiamo solo dormito. We did not hate the poor, we have only slept. Ma quando ci siamo svegliati era troppo tardi, I poveri erano andati via. But when we woke up, it was too late, the poor had left us behind. We all have slept too. And while we slept, the hour passed, at first slowly, then gradually faster. But thank God we have another hour. Yeah. Who gives this hour to us? Who is the donor of an extra hour? God is giving us another hour, another gift hour, because God listened the prophets of our time. Listen, St. Francis, Pope Francis, at least all of you, that you are praying and asking for something more, for an extra time, while our generation of adult people, we consume all the time, but God, we are still here, we are still alive. You are young, you can imagine something new. I was very impressed by the message of the Pope 2 years ago here in Assisi, when he wrote, you are the last generation, l'ultima generazione that can save the planet. Io non esagero, the Pope added. I don't exaggerate. And then that is the hope of the Pope. And then I was also impressed by the conclusion of the movie, The 25th Hour. That is a beautiful movie with Anthony Quinn and Virnalisi. Then, after 11 years, the main protagonist of the movie, Johan, came home from a lager, and finally came back home to his wife, Susanna. All newspapers took photos of them, celebrating this good news of his return. But Susanna and John were not able to smile. It was impossible for the journalist to take a photo with a smile, because the pain and the suffering was too huge for them. And then to pain, to suffering. I think that we must take pictures today with joy. That is the difference. We are aware of the responsibility. We know that this may be the last hour of the planet, but we are the disciples of Francesco, the giullare di Dio, who with stimmata in his body was still able to sing Cantico delle Creature. And then finally, we must live this time with a huge responsibility of the urgency of the time, of the 25th hour given to us. But such responsibility must be lived also with joy, because joy is the other name of the economy of Francesco. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Professor Bruni. Grazie mille. Really, your words touches our hearts, and we deeply understand now which does it mean, the 25th hour. Thank you so much.
It's a very unique image.
Yeah. And reminding us also that Pope Francis told us 2 years ago that we are the last generation. This is very impactful. Thank you. Well, we now continue to make room for words, but different words, differently concrete, effective, and inspiring ones. The time has come for the first face-to-face with Francis, a path through time and space in the footsteps of Francis of Assisi and the great texts of literature and the Bible.
There are many narratives that illustrate episodes from St. Francis' life, spanning across art, literature, movies, and even comics. For over 800 years, these mediums have contributed to maintaining the impact of Francis on culture and on people's life. In a sense, Economy of Francesco can be considered a special way to re-narrate Francis, which has transformed him into a critical lens to approach the many economic, social, and political challenges of our time. However, much like Giotto's sequence of frescoes in the Basilica of Assisi does not cover the life of the saint in its entirety, there remain untold stories to be unfolded concerning Francis, including those that have yet never been shared or written. Creativity and imagination thus become useful sources to cover the missing links between Francis and the present-day world through ever new original stories inspired by questions like, what would Francis think of our society? How would he react to the current economic and environmental planetary challenges? How would people respond to the return of Saint Francis in this day and age? These questions have inspired the short story we are about to read, titled The Homeless, a simple exercise through which I imagine what would happen if Francis were to live in today's New York City in the eye of a suffering, homeless person living in Times Square.
Every day, hundreds of thousands of people cross this street. Since the pandemic, even the rats have become regular visitors. In the end, I see no distinction between rats and humans. They're both beasts to my eyes. Over 300,000 souls pass through Times Square in a day. I overheard that from two boys chatting the other day. And yet, in this chaos, you can still remain invisible. 12,500 people an hour, 208 every minute, and only a few of them have left a coin this morning. A meager reward to endure living in a place like this. Is it because of my look? Is it because of my smile? Or is it because of what's going on in their heads? You're either part of this lifestyle or you're not. You're either one of them or you're just pathetic, an outsider, an idiot. Yeah, that's me. Yet, not everyone's like this. Think of that other idiot who has been coming here each and every day for the past few weeks, only to have his lunch break under that tree. A rich man for sure. And a bit of a queer too, let me say. What way, that way that looks at me so deep, so intense. Give me some money, won't you? No. Instead, he remains there, seated the whole time, feeding the birds. A real moron, huh? $6 for a sandwich, only to toss half to the pigeon. He even talked to them, the fool. He left his jacket behind too yesterday, a cloak, Burberry. They sell it for $1,000 online. The guy even had the smarts to live in his Burberry jacket. Accurately folded, as if it was a gift, with $50 inside. What a moron. It's never happened to me. Twice the fool. And if one could forget such a booty on purpose. I haven't seen him yet today. Look at them there instead. His birds. They look hungry. But to hell with them. Let them starve just like I am now. But what if he doesn't come by? Will someone else feed them? They seem to be expecting him too. The queer. And what if he didn't leave it there on purpose? His cloak.
Narratives aren't just informative. They are performative. That is, capable of leaving a mark on today's world, on people's life. Along this line, we invite you to use your creativity and imagination to reflect on one last question. Which untold story about Francis would be useful to accompany our attempt to develop a new economy?
Wow, what a challenging question you dropped, Stefano.
Indeed.
Thank you very much. And now we are back, EoF on air. So we see that also Monsignor Domenico Sorrentino is reaching us, so Bishop of Assisi and Chairman of the EoF Committee. But before giving the floor to him and listen to his words, we just want to remind you to chat, to interact with us, because let's remember, we are all together building this new economy, and maybe you can just share with us what this first piece of theater has left to you, your heart. So please, feel free to write and send any kind of message, and we'll be here checking from time to time and to dialogue with you.
Remember
so thank you.
This gathering is with all of us, is among all of us. And among the many messages we are expecting from you, some of them are a bit special, and we will show you now some video about our ambassadors.
I'm so pleased to be able to say hello to all of you. It's such a great pleasure for me to know that youth all over the world are gathering together to try to rethink the core values that shape our governments and our economies. And I've been thinking about this in two ways. So one way, which some of you have heard about before, is about how important care for one another is. And that our structures of work and our whole idea that who we are and what matters in life is what kind of work we do and how hard we work and how much money we make. These are distortions of what the core values are. Of course, we contribute through work, but we need to be able to contribute through work in a way that makes space for the time we need to take care of one another and to reflect deeply about what really matters. And so this brings me to another thing that I've been thinking a lot about, which is care for the earth. That just as we need the daily experience of caring for one another in the most material ways, we need to care for the earth actively. We need to get involved with gardening, with caring for the forests. And I think we need to take this all the way to the point of what in my new project, which is called More Than Human Constitutionalism. That we recognize the entire earth community as part of our community that needs to be part of our very governing structure. Thank you.
Hello friends, gathered for the Economy of Francesco global gathering. I am delighted to be able to join you like this for a moment as you come together once again to bring all of your courage, all of your conviction, your full imaginations and all of your listening to hear each other, to collaborate and bring the very best energy that you create when you work together, to imagine, to communicate, and to put into practice the economy and the transformations that we know these times demand of us. Here's to what you do.
Caríssimos jovens, sem justiça social não há justiça ecológica. Essa relação profunda entre o grito da terra e o grito dos empobrecidos requer a cada dia, corajosamente, que a gente realma a economia. Realmar a economia nas três linguagens: a linguagem da cabeça, a linguagem do coração e a linguagem das mãos. É necessário que empenhemos projetos concretos, reais, que tocam a vida dos empobrecidos e que toca a vida da Mãe Terra, que tanto necessita de um grande câmbio. Por isso, nós aqui em Florianópolis, 3 grandes projetos. O projeto da moeda social, o projeto da microcrédito e o projeto que constrói uma perspectiva de realmar a economia, olhando o campo social, político, econômico e o campo ecológico. Recuperar essas 3 linguagens de sintonia, de sensibilidade é fundamental.
Muito obrigada, Padre Wilson Gro, but also thank you to Professor Jennifer Nedensky and Kate Raworth. And now here we are. Bishop, thank you for joining us. We also take the opportunity to greet, linked to you and your group, our friends from the Santuario della Spoliazione Foundation, so Fra Cesare Provenzi, Marina Rosati, Daniele Fiorelli, who are currently and until Sunday hosting the EoF National Meeting of the Young Italians. So let us have a special greetings and best wishes to our Italian friends for their event. And now, Bishop, we go to you. We always appreciate your thoughts. So we are going to listen with pleasure and new words from you, please.
Thank you. Hello, young people. 1 year after the meeting with Pope Francis, we are back together again. That moment remains unforgettable. But seeing each other again, even from afar, is also beautiful. It helps us to walk together even along the different paths that the economy of Francesco is opening in the world. The economy of Francesco is a process. It's right then that it develops with the logic of sown seeds that sprout and become large trees over time. It's important that they are seeds that feed on the same lifeblood, what the Pope has called the economy of the gospel, embodied in the pact that you signed with him. It is also important that we keep a unified spirit, with its point of reference in Assisi, and precisely in Saint Francis, from whom Pope Francis himself willingly draws inspiration, as he showed again in the very recent exhortation, Laudate Deum. I have thought much about you this past year. For me, above all, my thank was to see you every day with the eyes of the heart and to pray for you. I did so by remembering the emotion that so many of you felt passing through the door that the young Francis crossed on the day of his stripping, entering rich and leaving poor, and then giving birth to a new economy, which I like to call the economy of fraternity. And what else could the economy of Francis be, if not the economy of a world in which we recognize each other as brothers and sisters with the very nature spelled out in the Canticle of Brother Sun, and that we live by drawing out from this truth all the consequences, including the economic ones. If we reflect well, this is a truth implicit in the very word economy. Oikos nomos. Oikos is the house, but also the family, and hence the place of fraternity. Economy is the fraternity applied to the management of wealth. This was underlined by the blessed economist Giuseppe Toniolo when he defined economic science as the science that is interested in the social order of wealth. Please pay attention to this definition. Wealth has an order, which, being a human order, alongside the other dimensions, cannot fail to also have an ethical soul. Together, it is a social order, as it concerns not only individual people, but the society in which they are inserted, starting from the family, and thus a fundamentally fraternal order. Conscious of this, the first Christians shared even their material goods and the sons of Francis would create the Monte di Pietà and a whole concept of the economy in the name of solidarity, the care of creation, and peace. This is the soul of the economy of Francesco. It's time, dear young people, that what we are learning and almost breathing becomes an initiative, a project, a proposal at all levels. Courage. What we have built over these years is a heritage that cannot be squandered. Your gaze upon Assisi will remind you of this, and Saint Francis will not cease to ask for each one of you every blessing from heaven. I wish you a good journey forward.
Thank you so much, Bishop. Your words are always filled with wisdom.
Grazie mille.
Thank you. But please stay a bit with us. And now, I was wondering, so what do you think, Ike, among those who tuned in with us today, there might still be someone who doesn't know what Economy of Francesco is?
Maybe. I don't know. But actually, I think it's time for EoF to have its own column as well.
That's a good idea. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the EoF News. How did EoF come about? How was it born, and how can you be part of this great community? So let's find out this together in the next report.
We have seen and felt the ever more anguished plea of the earth and its poor, who cried out for help and for responsibility, for people who will respond and not turn away. We were already committed to creating a new economy, and then a letter from Pope Francis calling the youth to reanimate the economy allowed us to identify with each other, gave us a broader horizon, and made us feel part of a worldwide community of young people who have the same vocation.
Pope Francis pointed to Saint Francis of Assisi as a model of fraternity and care for the poor and the planet. That was a starting point, and along the way, we have given voice and hands to ideas and projects. We are young entrepreneurs, researchers, economists, and changemakers from around the world. We come from many disciplines and backgrounds. The pandemic did not stop us. On the contrary, it made us see more clearly the wounds of the world and understand that the economy is too important to the lives of people and the poor not to take care of it all.
This diversity led us to create 12 thematic villages that allow us to experience the urgently needed culture of encounter in order to dialogue, consider, and discuss global problems.
But today, EoF is a long-term home for economic youth thinking and practices related to a view of an integral economy. EoF is an ongoing experience moving through the work in the villages and locally through our local hubs. A process that we are asked to undertake together as a vocation, a culture, and impact.
Well, to sum up, all young people interested in EoF can fill out the form Be Part of It, which is available on the home page of our website, but also participate in the several proposed activities or promote the new ones, which will then be available on the Living EoF page. We are seeing a scroll down of our website right now. So in this section, as well as on the What's On page, is it possible to find all kinds of events, local activities, and insights from around the world.
In September 2022, the young people present in Assisi shared and signed the EoF Pact, available today in several languages, a landing place of hope for humanity that the community is spreading in different work and study places. Thank you to each one of you. Their keywords have also inspired an academic research recently published.
Yeah, so EoF lives internationally through the work of the villages and global activities, but also locally through the hubs and at all territorial initiatives. Let's see another summary in the next video.
Carissime e carissimi giovani, l'incontro con l'economia di Francesco ha risvegliato qualcosa che avevate già dentro. E quando un giovane vede in un altro giovane la sua stessa chiamata, e poi questa esperienza si ripete con centinaia, migliaia di altri giovani, allora diventano possibili cose grandi, persino sperare di cambiare un sistema enorme come l'economia mondiale. Questo lo dico sul serio, conto su di voi, conto su di voi.
EoF is also growing in education and research, entrepreneurship, innovation and culture, and global and local events. The EoF schools and the EoF summer schools offer high formation on pillars of the economy of Francesco. The schools are not really about finding definite answers, but rather starting a common path to answer prophetic questions, such as commons and relational goods, vegetal paradigm, and narrative and spiritual capitals.
The EoF Academy is the international young scholars network that aims to promote scientific research on themes related to the economy of Francesco. It annually schedules education activities and fellowship grants.
Part of the EoF commitment is also to help spread and grow valuable business seeds. We share inspirational talks, practical skills, and helpful tools, keeping youth's business ideas at the center. We organize 12 thematic villages. These spaces allow us to formulate different aspects and possible responses to global problems.
Besides the villages, EoF lives in the territories. The EoF hubs are spaces where ideas and projects can come to life. A real aggregator of young EoF in collaboration with the business world, in synergy with local NGOs, civil, social, solidarity, and circular economies, with the dioceses of Catholic Church and leaders of other religions. Human rights are inherent to us all. EoF promotes and defends them, raises awareness, and gains support for global action.
Hundreds of regional events and initiatives are organized every year in the form of workshops, conferences, and call for action. To involve other young people, listen to the voice of the communities, implement projects, and include the needs of the most vulnerable.
EoF also organizes global events because this exercise, encountering one another, is the first step towards any change that can help generate a new economy. The economy of Francesco is a prophetic economy. It must be prophecy. In this time of changing, we do not always have answers to give, but we can always listen to the questions of young people and all those who ask for another world, another economy.
The economy of Francesco.
There are many projects and initiatives launched this year a sign of the East that generates opportunities to meet, exchange, grow, reflect, and live. And it's important to be said that these two videos that you have just seen, they are available in the website and they can be spread all over the world as you wish.
Yeah, just to mention some of the projects, we quickly start. For example, Latin America Congress of the Social Doctrine of the Church in Bogota, but then again, the Forum in Casamance, Senegal, involving young people from Mauritania, Cap Verde, and La Guinea-Bissau, around the topic ecological economy for lasting peace in sub-Saharan Africa. And also last May, the Mexico State Hub organized an event with 300 young people gathered at La Salle University, in addition to many other initiatives with the Sfinc Institute.
International events include the ecumenical one in Romaine, the Utopic Fest promoted by Rondine Cittadella della Pace, Economia para Disminuir Inequalidades in Colombia, and the Biblical Festival in Italy, with over 200 middle and high school students. And also sustainability fairs such as the Fala Cosa Giusta in collaboration with Economy of Communion and the Village for the Earth, both in Italy, or international retreats such as the one promoted by UNIAPAC at the European level at the Spazio Spadoni Convention for the Re-Evolution of Works of Mercy.
Yeah, and more space of fraternity around topics as inclusion, peripheries, and the fight against hunger can also be mentioned, like the recent Pacto Nacional pelo combate às desigualdades in Brasilia, or the many initiatives of the houses of Français in Turin and in other cities of Brazil, which the involvement of disadvantaged people and representatives of the Campagna de Fraternidade.
Getting back to the African continent, last August, Amboseli Mission engaged entrepreneurs, researchers, and educators in a 10-day mission to Kenya's Maasai community, which consisted of training sessions on nutrition, health, and entrepreneurship. Africa has hosted several other initiatives this past year in Zambia, Mozambique, and the Ivory Coast.
Oh yeah, and in this last country, a group of young people, once back from our event last year, they lived for a few weeks with vulnerable communities, reaching more than 200 people, including different abled, orphans, widows, frail old people, and that's what they told us, they shared with us. Parmi les nombreuses leçons recueillies, nous avons réalisé que les pauvres n'étaient plus des personnes considérées comme éloignées de nous, mais qu'ils faisaient partie de nous. That's what they said. Nous avions besoin de les toucher et de les sentir proches.
Yeah, and all these meetings and opportunities have come about through synergies. First among the youth themselves, then with other partners all around the world. Among these friends, we have with us today John Mundell, director of the Laudato Si Action Platform, and also Alonso Llanes, part of the Laudato Si movement team. Thank you to both of you. Let's go first with John. John, hello, first of all.
Hello there.
Good morning.
Great to see you. So,
good to see all of you.
Thank you. We have a question for you. How exactly does the platform work, and how can we contribute within the Economy Working Group?
Well, first of all, it's great to be with you all here. I'm in Indianapolis. Alonso, our platform program manager, is in Paris. Maureen is in Monterrey, Mexico. The platform, the Laudato Si platform, is an online initiative of the Vatican's dicastery for promoting integral human development, aimed at inviting Catholics and those beyond, everyone really, on a journey of ecological conversion toward integral ecology. The initiative became operational just 2 years ago, and since then we have signed on more than 8,000 participants worldwide in 7 sectors, impacting more than 15 million people globally. Our sector participants include individuals and families, parishes and dioceses, religious communities, healthcare networks, and economic realities such as businesses. And it also includes educational institutions where we have more than 200 universities signed on and over 1,000 schools. So what does the platform do? It offers resources to the participants, including templates and guides and action ideas and webinars that connect the global community. With this support, participants are able to reflect on and assess their lifestyles. They make Laudato Si action plans with specific actions aimed at achieving multiple Laudato Si goals, and they carry out those plans. Considering we have 1.3 billion Catholics worldwide, we still have a long way to go, but that's where the economy of Francesco comes in. One of our key Laudato Si goals is the development of ecological economics, which includes starting new businesses and projects that are supporting a more just and sustainable economy. And our hope is to greatly expand our economic sector on the platform by welcoming participants of the EoF to sign on at www.laudatosiactionplatform.org and become active members of our working groups, inspiring others with your actions and ideas, just like you're doing today, and contributing to this global communication network of integral ecology. So some of you all have already joined us, and we thank you for that. Imagine if more of you joined, how much salt and leaven you would add to the rest of our platform. So our vision is, like today, harvesting hope for a transformed world. Please join us, Economy of Francesco. We need you, and thank you.
Right. Thank you, John. What a nice call. We'll join more and more. We'll take part, and please be aware that we are with you in this adventure, of course. Now, 2 days ago, last October the 4th, St. Francis, the Apostolic Exhortation Laudate Deum was published to complement the 2015 encyclical Laudato Si. So we can talk a little bit with Alonso about that. Hola, Alonso. Yeah.
Hola. Thank you very much. I'm very happy to be here with all of you today and having the opportunity to spread the message of Laudato Si. So in the light of Pope Francis' exhortation, Laudate Deum, we stand at a pivotal moment where faith meets responsibility. This document calls us to recognize our role in the climate crisis, denounce injustice, and shift our cultural paradigm. It is a call for global action on climate change and the protection of our shared common home. It goes beyond environmental concerns, highlighting the urgent needs to address this as a global social issue, deeply tied to the dignity of human life. His Holiness' vision of humanity's integral connection with nature resonates widely, uniting faith communities and underscoring our collective responsibility. This exhortation prompts us to reflect on the consequences of irresponsible development and the importance of the cultural and spiritual transformation. We must embrace renewable energy, challenge the fossil fuel industry, reshape the economy, and demand meaningful global action. Our faith urges us to cooperate, build a future where God's gifts are shared by all. So let us join initiatives like the Laudato Si movement, watch the Letter film with your friends and with your family, even host a screening. Enroll at the Laudato Si Action platform and put our faith into action. And by doing so, we honor our Creator and care for His creation. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, both of you. And we end this first session of EoF News with another connection, this time with some Portuguese young people who did an EoF event during the World Youth Day this summer in collaboration with the Universidade Católica de Lisboa. And let's talk to him. Olá, Carlos. Me escutas? Ah, que bom. Como estão? Tudo bem?
Tudo bem.
Tudo bom? Welcome back. Muito obrigado em nome de toda a comunidade da EoF por nos ter recebido em casa em Portugal. And we know you would have a lot to tell us, but in 1 minute, we would like to ask you, why was participating in the World Youth Day one small step for you and one giant leap for EoF?
Okay, so first of all, good afternoon, everyone from Lisbon. We are at the Catholic University of Portugal, so the very same place where last August we had the home for the economy of Francesco during the World Youth Day. The EoF home was a space to showcase many innovative projects that show that a more human, inclusive, and sustainable economy is not an utopia, because we are already building it. We had several workshops and talks on topics like integral ecology, common good, and fraternity. It was also a place to reconnect with our EoF friends and to strengthen ties with them, an opportunity to share with people from all over the world what is the vocation and the pact of the economy of Francesco. Many young people were touched by the EoF spirit and showed their strong will to be part of the efforts for a better economy, for the people and the planet. We tried to build our EoF home in the spirit of the economy of Francesco, open for all, a space of encounters, of dialogue and of listening, a space where we can together look for the answers for the most important questions of our time. For us in Portugal, the economy of Francesco is a transformation process, a community, and a new vision for the economy. Each one of us is necessary to care for our common home. To conclude, dear friends, our journey has just started, and we should continue as pilgrims, always seeking and risking everything we have, just like Pope Francis told us right here during the World Youth Day. Each one of our small steps is a giant leap for EoF, a giant leap towards an economy of the gospel. So don't forget, one small step for you, one giant leap for EoF.
Thank you so much. We warmly greet our friends from Portugal. Obrigada, Carlos, but all the others as well. Thank you for all what you have done and for keeping, inspiring others with pilgrims, with this pilgrim spirit. Thank you.
C'era una volta un pezzo di legno. Cominciano così le avventure di Pinocchio, un libro bellissimo sulla libertà e sulla vita come avventura. Pinocchio impara la vita sulla strada, è un pellegrino, un camminatore. Sulla strada fa esperienze straordinarie, dove apprende il mestiere del vivere e lì, alla fine, diventa grande. Pinocchio è un inno stupendo e tenace alla libertà dei ragazzi e dei giovani, che per non diventare burattini devono correre, andare via di casa tradendo le aspettative dei genitori e degli adulti, perché un ragazzo, per diventare adulto, deve deludere gli adulti della sua vita, anche se li amano molto. Pinocchio è la continua lotta tra il ragazzo e il burattino. Non dice ai suoi lettori: ragazzi, tornate a casa, siate bravi e buoni. No, dice piuttosto il contrario. Restate ragazzi più a lungo possibile, resistete, fuggite dagli adulti che vogliono negare la vostra irriducibile libertà.
Il vuoto e poi ti svegli e c'è un mondo intero intorno a te, ti hanno iscritto a un gioco grande. Se non comprendi e se fai domande, chi ti risponde? Ti dice è presto. Quando sarai grande, allora saprai tutto, saprai perché. Saprai perché. Quando sarai grande, saprai perché. Devi stare zitto, solo ascoltare. Devi leggere più libri che puoi. Solo studiare, studiare, studiare. Quando sarai grande allora capirai. Quando sarai grande saprai.
Pinocchio è anche un ragazzo solo. I suoi amici sono animali e sono stupendi, burattini, lucignolo, con i quali non fa attività sociali, non svolge con loro azioni collettive. Anche nel paese dei balocchi gioca da solo. Pinocchio parla invece con i merli e con le lucciole, faine, gatti, grilli e pesci. Forse perché i bambini e i ragazzi sono capaci di dialogare con gli insetti, uccelli, gli alberi. È come se nel fagotto con cui arrivano sulla terra ci fossero anche uno sguardo e un udito diversi, più profondi, per vedere cose e comprendere linguaggi che poi svaniscono una volta divenuti grandi. Ma Pinocchio è anche un cooperatore degli animali. Viene trasportato in volo da un colombo, salvato nel mare da un tonno. Impara la buona reciprocità da un cane, il mastino Alidoro. Il cane era stato salvato da Pinocchio quando rischiava di affogare e Alidoro gli svela un segreto prezioso: la legge aurea della reciprocità. In questo mondo quel che è fatto è reso. E così quando sarà Pinocchio a rischiare di morire fritto nella padella del pescatore verde, sarà proprio il cane Alidoro a salvarlo dall'olio bollente, a mettere in pratica la reciprocità. Non basta un villaggio per crescere un bambino. Ci vuole tutto l'universo, con tutte le sue creature. Pinocchio è un ragazzo tremendamente solo, anche nei momenti decisivi della sua storia, inclusa la sua impiccagione. Oh babbo mio, se tu fossi qui! Ma il suo babbo non c'era. E così ci ricorda che i ragazzi sono molto più soli di quanto gli adulti possano credere in genere. Nel mondo di Collodi esistevano i bambini e gli adulti. Non c'era una terra di mezzo. Pinocchio non è un bambino, ma non è ancora un adulto. Ha inventato l'adolescenza, che è l'età delle fughe, delle corse a perdifiato, quando si torna a casa felici, ma solo per ripartire subito ed essere ancora più felici. È un figlio il prodigo che parte e non torna, o che quando torna riparte ancora in cerca della sua libertà. Pinocchio corre, corre sempre. E noi gli diciamo: Pinocchio, continua la tua corsa libera.
In un mondo che non ci vuole più, il mio canto libero sei tu, e l'immensità si apre intorno a noi, al di là del limite degli occhi tuoi. Nuove sensazioni, giovani emozioni si esprimono purissime in noi. La veste dei fantasmi del passato cadendo lascia il quadro immacolato e s'alza un vento tiepido d'amore, di vero amore.
Pinocchio è un ragazzo povero e ha sempre fame. Cerca sempre cibo, ma raramente lo trova. «Che mestiere fa tuo padre?» gli chiese Mangiafuoco. Il povero, gli rispose Pinocchio. Geppetto lavora, ma era povero. Lavorare non lo liberava dalla povertà né dalla fame. Non basta lavorare per non essere poveri. Pinocchio poi ha un pessimo rapporto con il denaro, che è all'origine delle sue pagine disgraziate della storia. Tutti i suoi guai iniziano con i soldi. Vende per 4 soldi il suo abbecedario e grazie a questi soldi Pinocchio entra nel teatro dei burattini di Mangiafuoco. Questi gli regala altri soldi, ben 5 zecchini d'oro, e grazie a questi soldi Pinocchio incontrerà il gatto e la volpe. Noi non lavoriamo per vile interesse, gli dissero. Noi lavoriamo per arricchire gli altri. E Pinocchio rispose al gatto: se tutti i gatti ti somigliassero, fortunati topi! Non c'è nulla di più grave di manipolare il linguaggio del dono per ingannare un ragazzo, un giovane. I gatti e le volpi sanno che i ragazzi vivono dentro il registro del dono, che è la loro lingua madre, e così usano parole di morte travestite con le parole del dono, ma solo per ingannarli ed ucciderli. Se vuoi ingannare un giovane, usa il linguaggio del dono. Ci riuscirai quasi sempre.
Quanta fretta, ma dove corri, dove vai? Se ci ascolti per un momento capirai. Lui è il gatto ed io la volpe, siamo in società, di noi ti puoi fidare. Non vedi che è un vero affare, non perdere l'occasione, se no poi te ne pentirai. Non capita tutti i giorni di avere 2 consulenti, 2 impresari che si fanno in 4 per te. Ehi, avanti, non perdere tempo, ferma qua. È un normale contratto, è una formalità. Tu ci cedi tutti i diritti e noi faremo di te un divo da hit parade.
Pinocchio poi non lavora, non vuole lavorare. Dopo aver tentato invano di raggiungere a nuoto suo papà Geppetto in mezzo al mare, Pinocchio giunge a nuoto nell'isola delle api industriose, dove tutti lavorano sempre. Nel paese dei balocchi non c'è scuola, c'è solo giochi. In quello delle api industriose non c'è il tempo libero, solo lavori. 2 mondi diversamente sbagliati. In quell'isola Pinocchio ha fame e cerca di procurarsi del cibo. Non gli restavano che 2 modi per potersi sdigiunare: o chiedere un po' di lavoro, o chiedere in elemosina un soldo o un boccon di pane. Ma a chiedere l'elemosina si vergognava, perché Geppetto gli aveva insegnato che l'elemosina hanno il diritto di chiederla solamente i vecchi e gli infermi. Incontrò un primo lavoratore. Pinocchio gli si accostò e gli disse sottovoce: mi fareste la carità di darmi un soldo, perché mi sento morir di fame. Te ne do 4 di soldi, rispose l'uomo, a patto che mi aiuti a tirar fino a casa questi 2 carretti di carbone. Pinocchio, scandalizzato, risponde: per vostra regola io non ho mai fatto il somaro. Pinocchio chiede la carità, un dono, e l'uomo gli offre un contratto. E Pinocchio non accetta. Incontra poi un muratore. Vieni con me a portar calcina, invece di un soldo te ne darò 5. Quei soldi diventano 5, ma Pinocchio non accetta i contratti degli uomini e preferisce chiedere l'elemosina. Preferisce l'elemosina al lavoro, la vergogna al contratto. Pinocchio, alla fine del suo soggiorno sull'isola, finirà però per fare un lavoro, quando a passare fu finalmente una donna. Pinocchio le chiede un bicchiere d'acqua e la donna risponde: bevi pure, ragazzo mio. Il dialogo con questa donna inizia con un dono. Una donna, che poi si svelerà essere la sua fatina, non chiede a Pinocchio di guadagnarsi l'acqua, gliela dona. I ragazzi hanno diritto all'acqua e al pane, perché sono ragazzi, figli dei genitori, figli degli adulti, figli di tutti noi. Dopo aver bevuto l'acqua donata, Pinocchio lavorerà. Aiuterà la donna fatina a portare le brocche d'acqua a casa e riceverà una ricompensa, il cibo. Quella donna superò lo scambio degli equivalenti. I ragazzi imparano la reciprocità se prima sperimentano il dono. Il buon contratto fiorisce dalla gratuità. Il lavoro da adulti si impara con il dono da ragazzi, perché gratuità, la madre di ogni contratto e di ogni lavoro. Grazie Pinocchio, perché ce lo ricordi da 150 anni. Noi ce lo dimentichiamo sempre, ma tu tenacemente ce lo ricordi. Io sono Pinocchio, ormai mi conoscete. Sono un ragazzo, prima ero un burattino, ma sono anche Abramo che lasciò la sua terra. Sono Gesù, divino emigrante dalla Trinità. Sono Francesco, mendicante e povero. E sono uno di voi. Un giorno ho iniziato a camminare, poi a correre e non mi sono fermato più. Correte, correte insieme a me. Prima o poi la terra promessa la raggiungeremo finalmente insieme.
Felt like the weight of the world was on my shoulders. Pressure to break or retreat at every turn. Facing the fear that the truth I discovered. No telling how all this will work out, but I've come too far to go back now. I am looking for freedom, looking for freedom, and to find it cost me everything I have. I am looking for freedom, looking for freedom, and to find it cost me everything I have.
Hello everyone, it's Carlo and Luca here at the console. We are very happy to welcome you to this moment together. Now we are going to take you to another room in the wonderful home of the economy of Francesco. To do this, we ask you to close your eyes and focus just for a moment on the voice you are hearing.
What does this voice tell us? It tells us a story, one that begins a long time ago. A story that narrates, sews, weaves, and embraces. It's our very own story of stories, the story of the economy of Francesco throughout this year.
And like all respectable stories, this one also begins with a small daydream, the dream of being able to reach anyone going through a period of hardship and pain, through a narrative and with all the affection possible.
Especially this year, we wanted to take our stories to the squares to remind the world and ourselves of what our sisters in Iran and Afghanistan are going through. A few days ago, it was the turn of Amita, who was beaten by Iranian moral police and put in a coma because she did not wear her headscarf properly. Our deepest thoughts and prayers go out to her. But now Diana is connected with us from Portugal. Diana, the floor is yours.
Hi, everyone. Thank you. Throughout 2023, the economy of Francesco promoted several initiatives in support, especially of Afghan and Iranian women whose rights at this very moment are denied and suffocated by violence. In Italy, as in Germany, Portugal, Norway, Chile, Brazil, and many other parts of the world, we used the narrative expedient of 1001 Nights to remind us that storytelling, which is telling a story, is also a place where we can go to try to defeat death, a sign to celebrate and defend the value of words and their generative capacity for salvation, the fundamental right to express oneself, to protest, to defend and fight for life, rights, and freedom. Why? The economy of Francesco was doing what the people to whom the event were dedicated have requested. Let our voices be heard. Don't forget us. Today, every social and political issue is removed within days of its media blast. Hence, remembrance is a rare commodity. And then, it cannot be ignored that the act of protest transforms and also defines those who protest. One of the EoF pillars is precisely the idea that human beings are much more than just self-interest, and then a natural tendency exists in people to intentionally care for each other for the good of the others, from the nearest to the farthest, from the one neighbors to the planet, without expecting anything in return. It is also significant that many of the people who have joined our initiatives have been young persons. Many schools and groups have joined these activities, and because of this, very interesting reflections and actions were initiated on issues such as gender equality, the importance of giving a voice and seeking the participation of vulnerable groups, such as children with disabilities, migrants, among others. We share with you a short testimony from some of these young people from the Agrupamento de Escolas de Lousada in Portugal. Abraço a todos.
Eu sou na escola de Lousada. Fico em Portugal. Fico muito feliz por participar numa atividade com milhões de jovens.
Para mim, eu fico feliz de participar nesta atividade porque pude representar o agrupamento e a minha turma.
Para mim foi importante participar nesta atividade porque podemos falar mais sobre as mulheres do Irão e Afeganistão e descobrir mais sobre as pessoas mais frágeis.
EoF, as we know, is a story that speaks to the heart. And Diana proved it to us, but it's also a story of mind and hands, as the Pope reminded us in Assisi last year. And this year has been no different. In our activities, we have always tried to allocate an important place for education, for everyone, always, everywhere. It's the story of the Economy of Francesco School.
This year, the Economy of Francesco School had a unique form from the very beginning. It started with a special connection from a place dear to and for EoF, the Bollate prison. Follow us.
So unfortunately, because of some mistakes I have done in my life, as you see, we are in prison. So, well, I'm sorry about that.
You are in jail, but you are not in jail when you are working, because this is a real job. You are paying for what you did wrong outside, but here you have the opportunity to rebuild your life.
Connected with us is Giorgia Nigri, coordinator of the EoF school. Giorgia, please.
Hi, thank you, Console. And yes, we are not our mistakes. So what is the EoF School? The EoF School is an annual, free, as we were saying, participatory training program that spotlights emerging economists, entrepreneurs, and change makers from our extended community. Its fundamental aim lies in the advancement of the ideas and actions of our young students and individuals engaged in the various domains of science and economic practice. As mentioned, we space from problems in jail to armaments to indigenous teachings to financial education to inequality. The current iteration, because as you mentioned, we are at our third edition right now, builds on the principles that we built up in our 2022 event. So they are taken every month they're underpinned by theory and practice, and they serve as a communal framework to actually discuss all the problems that we have in our economic issues today. So it is once a month, every last Monday of the month, 12 lessons. So they're not just words, there's the real deal. So please join us and buckle up, because this is real information from our community. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Georgia. Training for EoF never takes a vacation. Well, or rather, it goes on vacation, but always brings us in its heart. And this summer, the heart of EoF was in Laverna, where 75 young ladies and men from 28 countries around the world decided to invest their best self in the summer school. With us is Matteo Rizzoli to tell us about this experience. Matteo.
Oh, thank you. Actually, it's not going to be me, but rather Juan Carlos Mondragon, which was one of the participants in the EoF Summer School, who is going to talk to you about the event. He sent us this message, and I'm going to read this to you. He says, "The theme of spiritual, social, and narrative capitals has resonated with me deeply, and the serene settings of Laverna Franciscan Sanctuary has provided the perfect backdrop for our exploration. Over the past month, the knowledge and insights gained from the lectures, the engaging discussions, and the shared experiences have continued to inspire and shape my thinking. The significance of spiritual capital as the foundation of purpose and joy in our lives has become even more apparent to me. In a world rapidly advancing with technology, the preservation and cultivation of this capital is vital to combat feelings of emptiness and ensure a sustainable future. The power of narrative capital, which shapes our identities and influences how we interact with others, has encouraged me to be more mindful of the stories I tell and the narratives I engage with. The journey of St. Francis of Assisi and his experience at Laverna have been a profound reminder of the transformative power of embracing simplicity, humility, and the joy of giving. It has encouraged me to contemplate my vocation and embrace the path of intentional relationship and communion. As I reflect on this past month, I'm filled with a renewed commitment to promote spiritual, social, and narrative capitals in my research, work, and personal life.
Thank you so much, Matteo. Last but not least, the story of EoF is indeed this present voice, but it's also embedded in the words that have been written and that we would like ideally to deliver to the young people of the future, the ones that make up the libraries of the present. The first challenge of narrating the economy of Francesco was taken up by the Avvenire newspaper, which from the very beginning, and thanks to its journalist, has been able to meet dozens of young EoF protagonists and recount their experiences. These stories are now available in a book published by Vita e Pensiero, EoF, The Tale of the Protagonists for a New Economy.
You see, Luca, even us can be influencers, and I also have a book I'd like to promote today. Well, like a compass in the vast ocean of the modern economy, the economy of Francesco, a glossary for repairing the language of economics, emerges as a crucial publication this year. Edited by Stefano Rozzoni and Plinio Limata, published by Città Nuova, and a more recent Portuguese version edited by the publishing house of the Portuguese Catholic University. Wow, it's a hard job, the influencer, huh? Written by 33 young scholars from various corners of the world, this volume invites us to look at the economy through a different, more ethical and inclusive lens. Here with us is Gloria, a researcher from the EoF Academy that makes me become proud of being an influencer today, whom we asked to read a few lines from her contribution on the word entrepreneurship. Thank you, Gloria.
The entrepreneurs of Economy of Francesco are moved by an intentional purpose of fighting injustice and inequalities. They will create businesses that meet the needs of the community where they are inserted. Using Pope Francis' words, an entrepreneur is to be considered someone who has a vocation to create wealth, to respond to the needs of the most vulnerable, to the needs of the society and the needs of the planet. With his creative abilities, he innovates with responsibility and sustainability by creating products and services and giving work to those who need it in order to contribute to the common good.
Thank you, Gloria, for sharing your work on the concept of entrepreneurship. And speaking of ethics and inclusion, we cannot fail to mention the attention that EoF dedicates to agriculture. Let's imagine an economy that starts from the land, that sees agriculture not as an individualistic act, but as a genuine collective action. This is the message that Alessandra Smerilli and a group of young people from the Agriculture and Justice Village convey to us in the book Il nostro pane quotidiano per un'economia solidale e sostenibile, Our Daily Bread for a Solidary and Sustainable Economy, published by San Paolo Editions. By the way, Sister Alessandra is the General Secretary of the Dicastery for Promoting Integral Human Development, and she's a close associate of Pope Francis. She's here at the Serafico Institute with us, so I'm very happy to welcome you and to give you the floor.
Thank you. Hello to everyone, and I'm very happy to be here with you all. I'm happy to see that the spirit of EoF is more alive than ever and able to create powerful synergies and maintain strong partnership over the years in our global society. The Pope is certainly with you, and me and all the dicastery too. I am beyond happy and grateful to have the chance to assist and also to celebrate with you. This event occurs in an indeed special and historical week. Just 2 days ago, the Synod started and the letter from the Pope, Laudate Deum, was released. These two events mark a historical moment for the Church, open to the Holy Spirit and to risk with the Lord, as Pope Francis put it. And so this gathering is just as remarkable. As the Laudate Deum says, we must move beyond the mentality of appearing to be concerned, but not having the courage needed to produce substantial changes. I think these words are a call for you. Please have the courage to change the economy. Renewed by this message, let's move forward with joy, persistence, and fervor to continue your transformative work for the economy of today and the harvest of the economy of tomorrow. Thank you, and all the best.
Well, thank you for these inspiring words, Sister Alessandra. And it's always a different kind of economy, one that dreams with its feet firmly planted on the ground, the one that appears in the book Rethinking Economics, Starting from the Commons, written hand in hand by many juniors and senior authors together, and published by Springer Nature. We don't have enough time today to delve deeply into the contents of the volume, but we know it's already becoming a reference point and a source of reflection for many around the world. Keep up the great work, folks.
Dear friends, thank you for listening to our stories. Thank you for being here with us today. Our time together has now come to an end. But we cannot leave you without reminding you that what makes a story special is not the beginning or the conclusions, but the arising desire to seek out new stories once again.
EoF is not just an economic model, but a narrative, a story of lives, hopes, and dreams. It represents a bridge between the past and the present, between traditions and innovations, between the local and the global, between different generations. This year, we have traveled through various stories. The invitation is clear. Continue to look, reflect, and act. Act and act again. Always guided by ethics, inclusion, and the common good.
So once again, thank you all so much for sharing this moment with us. Stay tuned to EoF on air, because they are back. Niado with Don't Give Up, Peter Gabriel and Kate Bush cover by Rocky Fox. Thank you.
In this proud land we grew up strong. We were wanted all along. I was taught to fight, taught to win. I never thought I could fail. No fight left, or so it seems. I am a man whose dreams have all deserted. I've changed my face, I've changed my name, but no one wants you when you
Don't give up, 'cause you have friends. Don't give up, you're not beaten yet. Don't give up, I know you can make it good.
Oh, I saw it all around. Never thought that I could be affected. Thought that we'd be last to go. It is so strange the way things turn. Drove the night toward my home, the place that I was born, on the lakeside. As daylight broke, I saw the earth. The trees have burned down to the ground.
And we are back here at our web radio console. Enrique and Francesca. First of all, let's thank Luca, Carlo, Giorgia, Matteo, and Diana for bringing us back to the first pages of our Wiki EoF. And thank you to Emanuela Pantano and Valentino Borgo, who have walked us through the incredible and untold story of Pinocchio. And we are receiving so many stories and words and messages. So let's read the words of those who are writing to us. What do you say, Francesca?
Yeah,
what do you say?
We got quite several nice messages, so we thank you all. But in particular, we can have a read of some. For example,
let's see this one here. Like, for example, from Si Shun Lam, he says, "Great to see a greeting from Kate Raworth. We applied Donut Economics in the West Midlands Inclusive Growth Framework. That's really, really interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, we have also Michel Lamour, who says, the cry of the earth and the cry of the poor is one of the same cry. It's one and the same cry. For me, this is true, and my research project is in waste management in sub-Saharan countries. That's very, very interesting. From Gabriela Consolaro, amazing experiences. So happy to see many people working for justice in agriculture. This is so interesting. We thank you all, and we are waiting for more messages from you. And now let's listen from another message, this time in video, from other ambassadors of EoF.
Dear young people, it's great to be able to welcome you to this meeting, this milestone in the history of the economy of Francesco. And I hope that you can feel the embrace of all the other people who are here at this meeting. And if you're watching it with other people, let me invite you to actually embrace each other and feel that community that we have. I think this embrace has two main dimensions. The first one is the dimension of solidarity. And solidarity is so important in the world today because it can really confront injustice and bring it down, as the Polish people showed us when they confronted an unjust system with the help, the inspiration of Pope John Paul II, and brought it down. But alongside that, we need the new ideas that are going to build the new economy. And those ideas are going to come from the local level. And that's why we need subsidiarity as the other big dimension of our movement. So with these words, I wish you all the best for this meeting and into the future.
Voglio rivolgere a voi tutti, care ragazze e cari ragazzi, che state intraprendendo questo corso sull'economia di Francesco, il mio più caro saluto. Ebbene, la situazione è drammatica, è seria, e una delle questioni dirimenti di cambiamento è per l'appunto affrontare l'esigenza di una nuova economia, un'economia che sappia affrontare le grandi sfide che l'umanità ha in questo particolare momento storico che è la transizione ecologica. Vi auguro che il vostro lavoro sia importante a livello individuale come elemento formativo, ma altresì spero proprio che dalle vostre riflessioni possano uscire delle idee e delle suggestioni utili per tutti noi. Grazie di cuore per il vostro lavoro.
Thank you, Sister Helena Alford and Carlo Petrini and the whole Slow Food world. But yes, knowledge is actually one of the most important common goods, as we've seen before, and we are always highlighting. But actually not yet, not always, and not everywhere, as today knowledge seems to be becoming more and more expensive and restricted to a few people only. So EoF is also committed to promoting free and universal education. It proposes the opportunity to study for free as a fundamental right of young people, especially for those without means, up to the highest levels.
Yeah, and the next session of the program was prepared by the EoF Academy by speaking on education, by the International Young Scholars Network that was born to help young people who are committed to an academic career to attain required scientific background.
Yeah, exactly. And these scholars are the ones who, together with the academic coordinators, took care of the content of the next two interesting talks. The first contribution is an interview with Daron Acemoglu, Institute Professor of Economics at MIT, Boston, and one of the leading economists worldwide.
Yeah, it's important to say that we are delighted that Professor Acemoglu accepted our invitation. And on behalf of the whole EoF community, we want to express our gratitude to him. We remind you that the full interview is available on the website of EoF starting today. And as we have had to cut some parts due to time restraints on this on-air program. So please go there and listen to the full interview afterwards, okay?
So let's go in the discussion, because for the Economy of Francesco community, it's particularly interesting to meet Professor Acemoglu, because in part, I would say large part of his academic words, he focused on a topic that in the Economy of Francesco we mentioned but also a bit overlooked, and I'm speaking about technology. And more precisely, Professor Acemoglu, if I may say so, he tries to understand the relation between technology and also another topic important for the economy of Francesco, that is inequality. And in fact, his latest publication with Simon Johnson that I have here is a very big book that I read in the last weeks. Power and Progress is exactly on this relationship between technology and inequality. So as an opening question, Professor Acemoglu, I mean, reading your book, I had the impression that you and Simon Johnson are basically in the middle of two extremes. So on the one hand, let's say the Jean-Jacques Rousseau position, right? The idea that in the second discourse of inequality, Rousseau said when innovation and metallurgy and agricultural practice were introduced, there is where started inequalities. On the other extreme of the spectrum, there is the techno-optimistic view, right? This idea that, especially as you show in the concept of worker relation, technology increased productivity, and also the idea of the bandwagon, so this raising salary and improving situation for all. So my first question is, where do you situate yourself?
Yeah, I think if you put the spectrum like that, Paolo, you very much firmly sit in the middle. But I think there is also a somewhat different perspective that I think my work tries to bring. And I think it's actually sort of well captured by, since you just showed the book, by the beginning quotes that we have from H.G. Wells in the beginning of the book, in the beginning of chapter 1, when he says, you know, we've thought about technology, or we've thought about developing science and knowledge as a way of humans controlling, or men, he says at the time, control over nature, but it's often about control of men over men. So I think that is the key aspect that Simon and I want to bring. And that's why we are in the middle, which is that technology is not neutral. It's not neutral towards distribution inequality, but it's also not neutral towards power, politics, who controls information. And all of these are very tightly entangled with whether we as a society benefit from technology and what type of society we create out of that technology. So yes, I have long ago abandoned the techno-optimistic perspective that somehow new technologies are going to create very powerful forces towards better society, and that if there are stumbling blocks on the way, we'll find other technologies or we'll adapt our institutions to solve them. Now, there's some truth to that adaptation, indeed, that has happened during certain periods in time. You know, we come up with pharmaceuticals and they have side effects, and we come up with other pharmaceuticals to deal with those side effects. But I think that analogy both shows the limitations of using technology to deal with technology's problems, and also it works in pharmaceuticals because, to some degree, because it's a very narrow domain. It doesn't work when the technology that you create completely changes society, completely changes the power dynamics within society. So I think those are issues that to us are central, and they have not been completely incorporated into the economic thinking. And part of the reason is because, again, political economy is a relatively new field, but also partly because economics has its own version of techno-optimism. The productivity bandwagon is what we called it with Simon, which is that somehow there are powerful enough forces that when productivity increases, that's going to get translated to wages. And if it gets translated to wages, of course, that's a very important step towards shared prosperity. And again, we try to argue theoretically and empirically why that's not completely warranted.
Thank you so much, Professor. Thank you so much. And connected to what you said before, let's try to go a little bit more in depth on your argumentation. In your book, in the book that Paolo showed before, mentioned before, you mentioned that technology is a matter of choice. So in the economic context, you say that there are technologies that somehow are friends or of human labor, so they create or improve workers' productivity or create new tasks and new jobs. and others instead, which are, for instance, related to automation and that basically will destroy traditional jobs and will diminish the quality of work environment. And indeed, there are several papers showing also this, also in other domain, like also human fertility and so on and so forth. So if technology is a matter of choice, then the question will be, who's called to choose one rather than the others? And who is choosing the direction that technology research is taking?
Well, I think that's an excellent question, Valentina. And I think it's a two-layer answer in some sense. Directly, it's almost always in history and today, it is a group of powerful actors. Sometimes it was the US government that had a very important input into it, sometimes some leading scientists, but often it's a set of entrepreneurs and companies that have a very powerful effect on the direction of technology. For instance, if you want to understand why it is that the early stages of the British Industrial Revolution, starting in the middle of the 18th century, were so focused on developing, a factory system centered on control, monitoring, very harsh working conditions. Those are organizational and technological choices. Those were the choices that were made by a group of entrepreneurs and business people. But it's also not sufficient to say that it's their choices, because they are embedded in society. Society indirectly has the ability to control those choices. And the reason why our book, at least as Simon and I view it, is a commentary on the current state of affairs, especially in the United States, but more broadly, is because we think that the current direction of technology has veered off course in terms of bringing potential benefits to humanity, partly because society at large, US society especially, has abrogated its responsibility via countervailing powers, regulation, government action of keeping the very powerful actors in check to some degree.
You, Professor Acemoglu, in front of this community of researchers, entrepreneurs, and change makers, but especially for the researchers, what would be your advice, for these researchers who aim to reshape economics? I mean, where should they put their best energy? I mean, which topics, issues, problems do they need to address? What is urgent?
That's another fantastic question. Let me mention four things that, I'm an economist, and I think economics has problems, but has great strengths as well. So I don't think, like some people outside of economics who criticize economics, I don't think that our discipline should be thrown into the rubbish bin. But there are blind spots, exactly like you say. And let me mention four that from going from more concrete to more abstract. So the first one is what we've talked about, technology. I think we need to be much richer in our thinking about technology, what we want from technology, how we shape technology, and how technology affects not just for economists, the main thing technology does is affects the production possibilities set of a society. But it does many more things than that, and how it affects the production possibilities frontier, how we use technology. I think that's a very, very important thing. The second thing, economics developed as a materialist science, and generally, even though it's a very different type of materialist science, it sort of has some parallels with other sort of materialist conceptions. Most of our explanations, sometimes for good, start with, what are the incentives? What are the firm's profits? What are the consumption possibilities? And is this profit maximizes? Is this good for you? And one of the things that, Simon and I did in the book is really push for this idea that when you're thinking about the direction of technology, this is not enough. You really need to also think of a vision of technology. Like, where do the values of the people who push for new technologies come from? It's not always just their interests. It's a set of notions, set of norms, and we have to, I think, understand these and also perhaps also be part of a conversation about how we can improve the values and preoccupations of these entrepreneurs and all these technology leaders, as well as other agents in the economy. How different would the world be if, for example, the people who spearheaded the social media revolution weren't obsessed about getting digital revenues and reaching the biggest market size in 3 years, but actually really worried about creating an environment for better conversations, as people in the beginning of the 2000s had imagined that, the internet and social media could be a democratizing tool. So, why did they not have those values? And could they have had them? Or is the profit motive always going to be the only dominant one for these things? I think that's part of the conversation. I think a third one is about community and economics, meaning economic relations are often embedded in broader social relations, how people cooperate in non-economic domains. There is some very interesting work in economics going back over the last 20 years, for example, interplay of market and non-market institutions. But I think as we are witnessing bigger social changes, there is more need for bringing those things more into the mainstream of, what are the economic arrangements that can also encourage more societal cooperation. And I think, this is intimately linked to questions of inequality, because often inequality is something that's influenced not just by economic decisions, but these broader social cooperation. Who is your community? How you cooperate or fail to cooperate within the community? And so on. And then the final one, I think, in the age of AI, this is more philosophical perhaps, but I think it has relevance for economics, and perhaps it has relevance for the economics of Francesco, which is, what is the value of human agency? Is it desirable if we, have machines that are very good and make a lot of decisions for humans? Is that the kind of world we want to live in? Or is there some notion of, humans making decisions that is different from, machines being in charge in terms of the production process, in terms of, what we choose, how we live, and so on and so forth. So I think a broader conception of what is the right framework for us to think about human tool interaction or human machine interaction. And I think the way that economists would do is we would posit a utility function that's over consumption for humans, and we would posit a social welfare function that is about consumption of everybody for the social planner. So in that, agency doesn't matter. If you get that consumption, if you make the right choices because a machine or an algorithm tells you to do that, that's as good. But I think that misses something. It both misses something about the creative process. It misses something probably about what would make humans more satisfied with their lives and with the economy. So I think this is sort of semi-philosophical, semi-economic set of issues that we need to explore more in this age of very rapid technological changes.
Thank you so much, Professor Acemoglu, but also Paolo Santori and Valentina Rotondi for this inspiring dialogue. Well, and now we'll let the floor to a couple of EoF Academy fellows, Tatiana and Karen, connected from Brazil and India, and we also greet a lot Barbara, who she couldn't actually connect anymore. But the other two will guide us through a short reflection of blind spot on economics. Yeah, hello. Hi, Karen. Can you hear us? Hi,
yes,
welcome.
I can hear you loud and clear. Thank you. Thank you,
Right.
Francesca.
We'll be pleased to listen to you.
Thank you. So today, we at the Economy of Francesco Academy will try to give you the Academy's collective answers to the last questions that were posed to Professor Acemoglu. What are the blind spots of the knowledge surrounding economic issues? What are the topics, groups, and methodologies excluded or marginalized? And what are we as the EoF Academy doing to start an active and generative change? So today we present you with 3 insights. Imagine them as pillars on which the vision and activity of the EoF Academy is based. So let me start with the first blind spot, as it were. In 2023, it is not new or particularly original to criticize the Homo economicus, that is, the assumption that human beings are perfectly rational, fully informed, profit maximizing individuals. And yet, this caricature of man still defines what is mainstream or worth inquiring in economics, when in fact we might pity the Homo economicus. The reality is that the Homo economicus wants to be recognized as a person living in a community with desires that can transcend his egocentricity. This person has emotional and spiritual demands for meaning, beauty, truth, and justice. The economic person also knows that she is not the only subject of economics. Communities, families, animals, plants, the earth, all of these actors need to populate our economic inquiry. These are not just footnotes, they should be active subjects and not passive objects of our research and inquiry. In our work as EoF Academy researchers, the Homo economicus is not the rule. If anything, he is rather the exception. As Pope Francis invites us to go to the periphery of our societies to help the most disadvantaged by the current economic system, so we need to do with research and knowledge in economics and allied areas. We try to go to the peripheries of economics and bring to the center what has been discarded for no good reason. But let's move to the second blind spot.
Yeah, thank you. And now, yeah, we can switch to Tatiana, right?
Right, precisely. Oi, lá, Tatiana, como está? Tudo bem?
Hi, hello everyone.
Hello.
So the second blind spot is, so first I will introduce myself. Hi, my name is Tatiana, and I am also a member of the EoF Academy, connected to the division between orthodoxy and heterodoxy center, the periphery center and the periphery. We think that the most part economics today is conducted in a bubble. This is true in three senses. First, there is an ideological bubble built around the Homo economics. Some topics, some agents, some methodologies are excluded or marginalized simply because they are difficult to quantify and they escape to the iron cage of mainstream economics methodology. This creates a second bubble. Even when it pushes the discipline toward more comprehensive views, much of the economic research has become a dialogue between experts with a little or no impact on reality. The third bubble is that of hyper-specialization. We refute the idea that just economists are entitled to do economics, while we recognize that some degree of specialization is necessary. We do believe that economists should be in dialogue with other disciplines. This is why in the EoF Academy, we have experts in organization studies, philosophers, sociologists, urbanists, biologists, and many other figures. The EoF Academy is plural, is diverse. As EoF Academy researchers, we do not aim to find a perfect economic theory to replace economics. We do even think that some parts of economics should be kept. However, we are interested in blowing up the bubbles through research focusing on created problems and manifested injustice. We see our role as economists not separated from our role as citizens and human beings. Our knowledge should serve our community, from the family up to the international and global one. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Thank you so much, Tatiana, Karen, and to all of you. And we wish all the best to the EoF Academy and its works. We are always here, right, in EoF on air in our 25th hour. But I see that Maria has joined us in this meantime, and I think it's a good time for the second face-to-face with Francis.
For the global event with Pope Francis in Assisi last year, a key theme was prophecy. We heard readings from the book of Isaiah, and when Pope Francis spoke to us from stage, he called our attention to the fact that the very life of Francis of Assisi was a prophecy, one that continues into our own times. Now we are here, 1 year after. We hold firm the faith in a new economy, an economy of Francesco. We are building it day by day. Seeing several of our projects already becoming real is a source of hope and inspiration to many of us. However, looking at the world today can also be disheartening. The global crises are accelerating in the wrong direction. What is the role of prophecy today? Prophecy is a capital good important in any society, and especially when big crises strike. Then prophecy becomes a primary necessity, like water and respect. A prophet has the ability to see things as they are, telling the truth, looking ahead. We need prophets to point out a direction, to tell great stories. By articulating visions for the future, a prophetic voice can inspire radical change. In the Bible, prophecy is very much connected with young people being called, like Daniel, Ezekiel, and Jeremiah. Now we are invited to focus on the book of Jeremiah. Jeremiah starts his book narrating his vocation. And for Jeremiah, his calling begins with meeting a voice.
The word of the Lord came to me, saying, "Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I set you apart. I appointed you as a prophet to the nations." "Alas, sovereign Lord," I said, "I do not know how to speak. I'm too young." But the Lord said to me, "Do not say I'm too young. You must go to everyone I send you, to, and say whatever I command you. Do not be afraid of them, for I am with you and will rescue you." Then the Lord reached out his hand and touched my mouth and said to me, "I have put my words in your mouth. See, today I appoint you over the nations and kingdoms to uproot and tear down, to destroy and overthrow, to build and to plant."
When you encounter the voice, you find yourself in a global event. You hear, you see, you may be touched. Jeremiah is a magisterium on an authentic human vocation, a voice calling him to an unknown destiny to which he freely responds. But at first, he hesitates, objecting that he is too young and does not know how to speak. Still, he accepts his vocation. It's a freedom and a destiny. Jeremiah could say no to the call, but he could not escape his own marrow. And us? What is our calling? Do we feel too young? We would have so much more to talk about this great prophet. But to conclude, Jeremiah is a prophet during the time of night, but with a sun within that allows him to see a different dawn than the deluded people would like to see. He proclaims it, sings it, without fear. He tells about it so that also we may not be afraid in our nights, here and now. As the philosopher André Neher has written, Jeremiah, however, crosses midnight. Light is in his book, and joy too. But it is in the shallows and the cliffs that one must suddenly see them shine and hear them sing. May each of us, in the shallows or in the cliffs of life, find light and joy always.
Thank you, Maria. What a beautiful wish. Thanks a lot. I'm not sure the young people of Economy of Francesco feel too young to really change their world. For sure, they are brave and concrete. So, for example, let's have a look at the latest message we are having, Kike. One said, las preguntas que nos hacemos, el hecho de cuestionarnos la forma en que hacemos empresa, utilizamos el dinero, cuidamos la naturaleza, lo que consumimos, todo es precioso porque nos ayuda a estar en movimiento, a buscar respuesta, a explorar lo maravilloso de otra experiencia, a contagiarnos y a contagiar a los demás, también desde lo que hacemos. Un saludo desde Cuba, esto era el último. Bueno, keep up the good work. So,
yeah,
let's
indeed.
go on.
We also have another message from our ambassadors, please.
So my wish is that you will always remain in joy, because what you are doing goes beyond any way of a better expectation. Because what we are doing is a transformation, not a change. Because you know the difference between change and transformation. The change presupposes continuity. Transformation means choosing a new path, a new way. That, by the way, is the recommendation coming to us by, most of the time, by Pope Francis, etc. So many wishes. Stay in joy and don't be afraid. Even though some people might criticize you or don't be afraid, because you should know that you are operating from the proper side. Many thanks, and I hope, I don't know if such an hope can be accomplished, to see you personally in one occasion or the other. Bye-bye. Ciao.
Greetings. I'm Sabine Alkire in the University of Oxford's Poverty and Human Development Initiative, OFI. And I'm really delighted at this meeting of the Economy of Francesco on the 6th of October, because it is so important that we try to bring together our academic work, be it on multidimensional poverty, be it on inequality, on well-being, on digital aspects, some of the most intractable issues that face humanity, that we bring our work, our research together with a passion for service. And that passion can infuse your research, making it of the utmost and highest quality of excellence, so that it really opens new intellectual channels. But it can also make you a voice to reach out to those who are not researchers, those in positions of power in terms of politics, or business leaders, community leaders, faith leaders, so that they have the tools they need to do what they really want, which is to serve in a fruitful way. So my thoughts are with you, and I hope that your work goes forward with excellence, with a compassion and a commitment to service and to God's glory.
Thank you, Professor Alkire and our dear Zamani. And then, among the many testimonials, we want to listen and thank especially Francesca Di Maul, who has just joined us. So, president of the Sfinc Institute, member of the EoF committee, witness of the concrete and daily love that is lived every day in this place, that is hosting us today with the usual generosity and friendship. So please, we are happy once again with your words, Francesca.
Thank you, Francesca. Carissimi, io sono veramente onorata, grata di portarvi il saluto del Serafico. Ci troviamo proprio al Serafico e nel cuore della fragilità, dove ogni giorno ci prendiamo cura di bambini e ragazzi con gravi disabilità, dove ogni giorno cerchiamo di aiutare i nostri ragazzi a vivere una vita piena. Ognuno di noi, sin dalla nascita, è chiamato alla responsabilità, a essere responsabile verso la vita, ad avere cura di sé, degli altri, del mondo. E da questo luogo voglio lanciarvi un appello per un'economia che sappia essere materna e non matrigna, verso ogni persona, verso l'ambiente in cui viviamo. Un'economia materna è chiamata a nutrire la vita, a coltivarla, a farla fiorire. L'economia non può essere matrigna, escludere, creare disuguaglianze, rispondere a interessi individuali e guardare solo al profitto. un'economia materna che avrà cura della vita e di ogni vita, nonostante il limite e la fragilità, sarà in grado di assicurare uno sviluppo per tutti. Andate alle radici dei problemi e delle cause delle sofferenze dell'uomo per trovare delle soluzioni concrete ed efficienti. Un'economia materna ha bisogno di coltivare il pensiero, a partire dal patto che Papa Francesco ha sottoscritto con voi lo scorso anno ad Assisi. Un'economia materna ha bisogno di occhi che sappiano vedere le piaghe dell'uomo e della terra. Ha bisogno di una fraternità che ci veda responsabili gli uni con gli altri. Provate a ritessere tutte le dimensioni di cui vi occuperete con il filo della cura e domandatevi sempre se le strade che intendete percorrere sono o no nutrimento per la vita. Coltivate la vita, coltivate l'economia. Grazie a tutti.
There's so much in what you said. Thanks a lot, Francesca. You let us reflect on really big things and big issues. So thank you once again. The best for your work, the best for all your work here at the Seraphic, and a hug at all the people hosted here, but also to the many operators who spent every day, their time with these people. So thank you very much. And now, let's just turn the page and listen to another bit of music by our Valentino before a new harvest session.
Sai de minha frente que eu quero passar, que este samba é tão animal que você não vai querer que eu chegue ao final. Este samba que é misto de maracatu, é o samba de preto velho, samba de preto todo.
And so, with the notes of this music in mind, we continue with our journey. Academic and training initiatives. This is now the part, the initiatives that we will see are in this field. And so we have seen them growing in different parts of the world during our harvest. And this is why we start this section about academic and training initiatives, indeed, with Mateus from Brazil.
Hi, I'm Mateus Machado, and the book How to Manage the Resources That God Entrusts in Your Hands is inspired by EoF, where it was born. In the preface, you can see faith in a God who is the creator of all things, visible and invisible. Despising invisible things prevents all areas of reality from being touched by divine grace. Precisely for this reason, we are invited to be concerned that Christian values are not alien to it. It is in this sense that the book invites us to a healthy relationship with finance, taking advantage of temporal goods without harming Christian values. It is Rather, in the case of finance and economy, an attitude of thanksgiving for the goodness of the Lord, for the resources He makes available to us, and which need to be distributed fairly and multiplied with sagacity and wisdom. I invite you to read, reflect, judge, and act, making your own resources more valuable and at disposal to promote the common good.
Obrigada, Mateus, for this invitation to live and share the common good. So the economy of Francesco has a lot of seeds from formation and academy initiatives. So, Luca, why don't we live the common goods and wisdom by listening to them?
Yes, let's go.
Friends, it's great to see you here. It's a pleasure for me to be with you today. I am Adriana Gomez Chico from Mexico, and I will be moderating this session. It's time to enjoy the harvest. We are going to present now just a sample of some academic initiatives. A little bit of a lot that is going on within and around the economy of Francesco. But we know that the harvest doesn't happen in a day. We'll see, following 3 questions, a little bit of the process that it has been. How did this initiative start? How has it grown? What have been its fruits? Let's listen to some initiatives answering to these questions. First, to the first one. How did this initiative start? So please, Leonardo, go ahead.
Ciao a tutti, io sono Leonardo, sono un dottorando di ricerca alla LUMSA. I dati Imbalsi 2021 ci dicono che al termine di un ciclo scolastico uno studente su 2 non raggiunge un livello accettabile di apprendimento in matematica e italiano e la quota supera il 70% in alcune regioni del sud Italia e che gli studenti più esposti a povertà educativa sono quelli che provengono da ambienti sociali svantaggiati. Che fare? La mia ricerca nasce dall'incontro con Ilenia, una ragazza adolescente che nei primi 3 mesi di scuola aveva 28 assenze e numerose insufficienze. Insieme, oltre ai compiti, abbiamo cercato qualcosa che la motivasse profondamente. Alla fine è stata promossa. Con la Summer School a Laverna ho intuito ciò che poteva esserle accaduto. Lei era fiorita perché aveva sviluppato capitale spirituale, questa forza intrinseca che l'ha motivata ad agire nonostante tutto. E quindi la mia domanda: il capitale spirituale può essere determinante per far fronte alla drammatica crisi degli apprendimenti in Italia, soprattutto negli studenti più esposti a povertà educativa? Grazie mille.
Thank you, Leonardo. Now I give the floor to Andres.
Thank you, Adriana. I'm going to speak about theories of justice. Rawls builds a theory in which participants need to be free, equal, and independent. However, according to Martha Nussbaum, this is a problem because individuals, such as people with cognitive disabilities, are not included in this theory. As a consequence, Nussbaum builds a new theory based on the 2 criteria that you see on the screen. The result of this new theory is that it is able to include more people within its frames. However, there are some people that do not qualify, that do not meet these 2 criteria, such as children with anencephaly. My proposal is to base or to found Nussbaum's criteria on a biological basis, such as the Homo sapiens condition. So the child with anencephaly would qualify as a human being because he has this Homo sapiens condition. As a result, this new theory would be able to include even more people as participants of a theory of justice.
Thank you, Andres. And now, Sebastián, please go ahead.
Muchas gracias, Adriana. Un ratito voy a compartir mi presentación. Hola, yo me llamo Sebastián, hago un doctorado en economía en Alemania y hace un año yo viajé a Asís por participar en la economía de Francesco. Este evento me ayudó a conectarme con mucha gente de todo el mundo, especialmente en Latinoamérica, y desde hace este evento también trabajo con un grupo sobre el tema de la desigualdad y tengo mucho contacto con el grupo de Bolivia. Y bueno, por eso yo trabajo ahora en la pregunta cómo se puede reducir el trabajo infantil y al mismo tiempo mejorar la situación económica de los niños. Y yo he viajado a Bolivia por esa pregunta y he hecho muchas encuestas con niños en colegios que deben trabajar después de tiempo en el colegio y eso es lo que estoy haciendo ahora gracias a la economía de Francesco. Gracias.
Thank you, Sebastián. Tatiana, we are all ears.
Muito obrigada, prazer a todos. Meu nome é Tatiana, sou doutoranda de Economia pela Universidade Federal do Rio de Janeiro, e o meu projeto é o Mission Economy, que surgiu da necessidade de pensarmos questões que atravessam todas as vilas, questões que sejam concretas. Após muitas reuniões, debates e reflexões sobre a vocação em sustentabilidade do sistema hegemônico em que vivemos, um grupo de idealizadores de diversas vilas lançou o projeto Mission Economy, inspirado no trabalho da professora Mariana Mazzucato, que fala sobre políticas orientadas a missões. Ou seja, pensamos em arcabouços de normativas, de instituições que sejam plausíveis e que combatam todas as mazelas do sistema para diferentes realidades. Nós pensamos que, independentemente da temática, é importante pensarmos políticas que sejam transformadoras da ordem em que vivemos, pois somente mudando instituições e normativas é que vamos alcançar um bem comum. Obrigada.
Thank you, Tatiana. And now let's focus on the second question. How has this initiative grown? Please go ahead, José Tomás.
Muchas gracias, Adriana. El proyecto que he querido presentar acá en el Harvest de Economía Francesco es USEC en el proyecto social de San Alberto Hurtado, el cual he desarrollado desde 2019 la organización donde trabajo. Si bien comenzó como un humilde ensayo de un curso de magíster, ha podido crecer orgánicamente como un árbol frondoso, teniendo varias publicaciones académicas y participaciones en congresos internacionales. Este proyecto ha crecido de la mano de Economía Francesco. En particular, lo he podido presentar en el workshop Mission Economy, del que hablaba Tatiana, en el marco del encuentro del año pasado en Asís. También expresa mi crecimiento profesional y académico en el marco de mi vocación, con el desarrollo profesional y académico que he podido desarrollar en este tiempo y que me ha permitido comenzar un programa de doctorado este año. Muchas gracias.
Thank you, José Tomás. And now let's listen to Jesus, who will answer to the third question. What have been the fruits of the initiative?
Muchas gracias. ¿Qué podemos decir de los frutos de la formación académica? ¿Qué podemos recoger de una formación que incluya las propuestas de The Economy of Francesco School, aterrizándolas y encarnándolas en las realidades territoriales de nuestro país? Eso es lo que me he propuesto desde el 2020, como toda la riqueza que ha sido compartida por las y los profesores en The Economy of Francesco School es aplicada desde nuestros territorios. ¿Qué podemos recoger? Más de 30 ensayos académicos y 30 videos donde las y los estudiantes han vinculado la teoría con sus territorios. Hemos sembrado en ellos la pasión por investigaciones económicas que incluyan nuestras realidades y mover nuestros corazones y nuestras inteligencias para una economía que dé vida. Gracias.
Thanks to all of you. It has been great to listen to just this small sample of the great harvest that we have had within the Economy of Francesco. Now let's listen to a few other initiatives.
Zero, et le fruit que je voudrais vous présenter, c'est ce manuel qui s'intitule Ecological Money and Finance, Exploring Sustainable Monetary and Financial Systems. C'est un texte de 25 chapitres à destination des étudiants de licence et de master. Ce texte est le fruit de 4 années de travail par les membres de la commission économie et finances du réseau SDSN France. Et l'objectif de ce manuel, c'est de contribuer à refonder les enseignements en économie et en finance, de manière à permettre aux nouvelles générations de répondre aux enjeux du développement durable et des accords de Paris. Merci.
No Brasil, formamos núcleos regionais da articulação brasileira pela economia de Francisco e colocamos Clara como referência feminina tão importante na economia que desejamos. Na cidade de Campinas, utilizamos a metodologia Paulo Freire, construindo coletivamente formações e projetos. A fome chegou a 33 milhões de pessoas no país. Aplicar a economia de Francisco e Clara é transformar essa realidade. Na nossa cozinha solidária são oferecidas 6.000 refeições por mês, oficinas de educação, culinária, hortas, atividades de crescimento e geração de renda. Formamos também o sistema de finanças solidárias e cooperativas de jovens na periferia. O Papa Francisco nos reúne, fortalece, anima, dá força. Colocar a vida no centro do sistema econômico na prática nos faz esperançar que um mundo novo é possível. Combater a fome, para além da fome de alimento, é o que nos move. Fazer disso um estilo de vida é nossa proposta.
El libro Doctrina Social para el Hombre de a Pie es uno de los frutos de la economía de Francisco. En él se lee: en definitiva, la Iglesia propone un humanismo integral y solidario, capaz de conducir a un nuevo orden social, económico y político, fundado en la libertad y la dignidad de la persona y ejercitado en la paz, la justicia y la solidaridad. Esta es la tarea del anuncio de la doctrina social de la Iglesia. Junto a ella hay otra tarea: la denuncia de las situaciones de violencia e injusticia, de los derechos ignorados y violados, especialmente de los pobres, los pequeños y los débiles.
Hello, and we are back here on air again, and thanks to Adriana, the Harvest team, and all the young people who participated. Yeah, we wanted to bring here many more initiatives from all around the world, for example, from Eastern Europe to Asia, and initiatives from entrepreneurship and much more. But we now are going to watch a video from our friends in Burkina Faso. We asked Noel and Natasha, how does partnering with government agencies facilitate many different realities? We're going to watch this video now.
L'économie de Francesco, c'est un mouvement mondial lancé par le pape. Il fait appel à une économie plus juste, plus inclusive, plus humaine. Une économie qui combat le rébut, une économie qui prend en compte les pauvres et surtout une économie qui protège l'environnement. Alors dans le cadre de l'économie de Francesco, nous avons mené beaucoup d'activités ici localement. Alors, sur le plan environnement, nous sommes en train de travailler avec l'association Espoir pour l'environnement, ça c'est tout petit. Alors, du point de vue église, alors nous sommes en train de travailler à mettre toute la conférence épiscopale. Au Burkina, la conférence épiscopale, c'est le Burkina et le Niger. Donc nous sommes en train de travailler avec cette conférence afin que, soutenue par la conférence épiscopale, nous puissions générer des entrepreneurs dits de l'économie de Francesco. Nous sommes également en train de travailler avec les journalistes surtout, un dialogue beaucoup plus axé sur l'environnement.
Right, and now, you know, we can go to the Latin American corner of the world, so we have plenty of live over there from Mexico, Monterrey, the New Hub, to Costa Rica, Cuba. There's really a lot, but now we only have the time and possibility to have a zoom to Argentina, for example, where we have connected Valentina and Magali with us. Hola, hola chicas. Buenas.
Hola Francesca.
Hola, ¿qué tal? Un gusto tenerlas por aquí. Bueno, y sabemos que está pasando mucho en el país, que hay varios proyectos en camino, algunos que se están desarrollando. También si nos puede contar en poco tiempo así, la vida que hay y lo que está pasando. Gracias.
Hola Francesca, muchas gracias por recibirnos, la verdad que estamos re contentas. Y queremos compartirles el proyecto de Tomás Palmieri, quien para reducir todo el descarte que hay hoy de las personas y la exclusión, comenzó un proyecto en el cual puede llevar conexión a Internet a jóvenes de lugares vulnerables y a través de ello pueden acceder a material educativo y culminar sus estudios. Y por otra parte, también contarte que desde el proyecto 100 Asís se ha logrado generar la Universidad de las Periferias, a través de la cual se está logrando que las cooperativas accedan a herramientas formativas y estas cooperativas brindan trabajo a aquellos jóvenes que han salido de la cárcel cumpliendo sus condenas respectivas y de esta manera pueden acceder a un trabajo digno.
Bueno, también desde la Universidad Católica Argentina, desde la Unidad de Vinculación Tecnológica, se han venido desarrollando jornadas con colegios secundarios en los cuales se abordan problemáticas de las 2 aldeas de economía de Francisco. Y también en la sede que está ubicada en Rosario, de la Universidad Católica Argentina, hemos desarrollado una cátedra, la cual se dicta para las carreras de grado en Ciencias Económicas, que busca que los alumnos puedan conocer sobre nuevas economías y también a través de una metodología de aprendizaje-servicio puedan llevar y volcar esos conocimientos a la comunidad, especialmente en asesoramiento de materia de triple impacto a lo que es una cooperativa que está ubicada aquí en nuestra ciudad.
Así que bueno, esas eran algunas de las iniciativas
Qué bueno. Sí, qué bueno, realmente buenísimo saber de tanta vida y de todo esto. Y saludamos también todos los que están en Buenos Aires y en otros lugares. Así que muchísimas gracias por esta actividad llena. Y yes.
Yeah, perfecto. We will now conclude this session with a special and much anticipated link. We go live to Colombia, where Sneida and Jesus, together with many others, await on the last day of the 3rd EoF LATAM Congress, whose wonderful title this year has been Tejiendo Economías para la Paz.
Yeah. Hola, por ahí.
Hola, ¿nos escuchan?
Sí,
¿Nos ven?
Sí, los escuchamos muy bien. ¿Pueden escucharnos?
¿Cómo están? ¿Bien?
Buenos
Muy
días
bien. Estamos muy agradecidos por este espacio.
Hola queridos, buenísimo, es una alegría de verdad estar con ustedes en este momento. Una pregunta clara, porque sabemos que después de las primeras ediciones, la grande red de EoF LATAM, ha vuelto a trabajar este año, implicando siempre a universidades, instituciones, sociedad civil. Y bueno, felicidades y gracias, pero queremos profundizar un poco el tema central que han elegido para este congreso, que es la paz. Queremos escuchar entonces su palabra como economista, empresario, pero sobre todo como operadores de paz.
Así es, hemos tenido la oportunidad, ya son 3 días de congreso. En ellos hemos podido profundizar en 4 de las aldeas que tiene EoF. En esta ocasión han sido vocación y beneficio, gestión y don, trabajo y cuidado y negocios y paz. Así es, la paz ha sido uno de los puntos centrales del congreso. El primer día lo pudimos desarrollar desde el Centro Memoria de Reconciliación y Paz, donde de hecho quienes han estado aquí de forma presencial pudieron hacer todo un recorrido sobre el conflicto y la paz en Colombia. También hemos tenido la oportunidad de dialogar con distintos empresarios que nos han dado su punto de vista desde cómo realizar los negocios en una economía un poco más franciscana y sobre todo dar esa oportunidad para que desde la academia y con los estudiantes también podamos aportar a esa nueva economía. Nosotros, el día de hoy, precisamente con esta conexión internacional, daremos por finalizado el 3er Congreso Internacional de Economía de Francisco, América Latina y el Caribe, y ya 3ª ocasión, Brasil, Argentina, hoy desde Bogotá, Colombia, y nos complace poder anunciar que el 4º Congreso se estará realizando en próximas oportunidades desde México. Así que para nosotros es un gusto poder darle esa oportunidad. Jesús, ¿cómo reciben esa noticia?
Muchas gracias, Snyder. Estamos muy felices de recibir el 4º Congreso de Economía de Francisco en América Latina y el Caribe, en México, la tierra del mariachi, del tequila, de las riquezas naturales y culturales, lleno de gente alegre, hospitalaria, feliz, pero también con grandes retos y desigualdades. Por eso nos queremos ver el próximo 2024 en esta tierra para seguir construyendo economías para la paz y economías para el buen vivir. ¡Que viva México! Nos vemos en el 2024.
Un saludo para todos.
Hi everyone, this is Ricardo Flores from the Business and Peace Village from Economía Francesco. Today I'm here with you to share and invite you to the launching of our campaign, Money for Peace. Our objective is clear: change the financial landscape and promote ethical investment. We know together we have the power to drive positive impact. This is a call for action. This is a call for awareness. This is a call to demand a good usage of our money. So, be attentive to the social networks of Economy of Francesco to know more on the launching of this campaign that will take place at the end of this month. Join us in this journey that we know will generate a very positive impact in our reality and in our future. Thank you. See you soon.
In the EoF generation around the world today. Those we have been able to mention, believe it or not, are just a few examples of the fruitful life in different places and contexts.
Yeah, absolutely. So a thought and message of gratitude and encouragement goes out to all the young people still committed, and that we couldn't mention directly today, but we know they are working hard to change the world and to make this EoF an increasingly strong and impactful reality. So thank you and everyone over the world. And now we go the floor to Luca, and let's find out what's happening today.
Cari amici, vi invito a fare un patto per cambiare l'attuale economia. Ridate un'anima all'economia. Quelle parole hanno letteralmente travolto la vita di migliaia di giovani. Sì, perché ci sono parole che passano veloci come stelle cadenti e parole invece capaci di illuminare strade nuove. Di queste ultime abbiamo imparato a festeggiarne i compleanni, come si fa per i bambini, per celebrare la vita nuova che sono state capaci di generare. Oggi vogliamo farlo con due parole che quest'anno hanno soffiato su delle candeline particolarmente importanti. Il 28 agosto abbiamo festeggiato il 60° anniversario del discorso tenuto da Martin Luther King sui gradini dell'Abraham Lincoln Memorial, I have a dream. Sono queste le parole che quel giorno e per sempre sono state impresse nella storia. E perciò, amici miei, vi dico che, anche se dovrete affrontare le asperità di oggi e di domani, io ho sempre davanti a me un sogno. Il sogno di Martin Luther King ha aiutato il mondo a guardare oltre le asperità, perché un sogno è al tempo stesso promessa e profezia, che oggi deve diventare parola. Dalla profezia alla parola, un passaggio che non è per nulla facile. Come si fa a rinchiudere in una profezia in una parola? A contenere un carisma in delle parole. È la stessa fatica, lo stesso senso di indicibile frustrazione che Francesco d'Assisi patì per giungere alla definizione della sua regola per i frati. 12 brevi capitoli che oggi compiono 800 anni. La redazione della regola fu per Francesco un vero travaglio. Mentre i suoi frati, il suo ordine, la promessa che Dio gli aveva fatto sembrava andare ormai allo sbando. Una fatica necessaria, un travaglio generativo, perché solo quando una profezia diventa parola può crescere, contaminare e infine realizzarsi. Quello della regola è il secondo compleanno delle parole che oggi vogliamo festeggiare, insieme al sogno di Martin Luther King. Il sogno e la regola. Due parole che sembrano l'una l'antitesi dell'altra. La profezia e la parola, il carisma e l'istituzione. Due ricorrenze che cadono nell'edizione del 2023 di Economy of Francesco e che lasciano un segno importante in questo nostro percorso.
Thank you very much, Luca. Grazie. So inspiring again. Enrique, we are approaching the end of this event. We would have liked to tell many more things, but now we had lived a gathering made of beautiful moments, a program written by multiple hands, actually, a story told by many voices. We could see many of the authors of this event and some other protagonists worked behind the scenes so that we could be on air today.
And to all of them, as well as to the sound technicians, video operators, those who manage the different streams, translators, directors, our wonderful friends at Caledon, we would like to give you all our gratitude and appreciation for your friendship, passion, and quality of your work.
Yeah, and now, we go to the special moment of this program, because let's see, last August, EoF has launched the Stories We Are contest. It was a storytelling exercise open to multiple artistic expressions to tell about, to the world, but also each other, how it is possible to imagine a new integral economy. So we collected ideas that spread in the form of stories, images, poems, and notes.
Yeah, we are only at the beginning of this narrative challenge, but the participation in the first edition of the contest has been simply amazing. Almost 100 entries were received in just over a month to enter the contest. Works arrived in 6 languages from 22 countries around the whole world, 24 poems, 14 letters, 15 figurative works, and more videos, songs, diary pages, short stories, graphic novels, and even a video game.
Yeah, we were already aware of that, actually, but now we are sure. So economists, entrepreneurs, and change makers in EoF are also artists. So it is thanks to these artists that, alongside the know-how, a typical concept in economics, we can also discover the know-why, which is the deep meaning of things and actions.
Hey, wow, this is so beautiful. The
know why.
Yeah, we want to sincerely thank all the participants. Each of the works received is a valuable and irreplaceable piece of the whole EoF narrative capital, and will be shared with the community from now on. And now, let's finally find out the winners of the first edition of the Stories We Are contest.
Yeah, so, the contest actually saw many categories. So we have the first categories, which is the visual art, and we have inside several aspects. So we start with photography, and the winner is Profumo di Casa by Elvira Occhi Pinti e Padre Gianni Treglia from Italy. So it has been chosen for the expressive power of the work. The chosen subject, subtitled by the text of a poem, narrates the phenomenon of migration by restoring centrality to people without neglecting the cultural and social complexity of migration.
All right, still on the category visual art, we go now to painting, and we have from Portugal, from João Magalhães, Disequilibrium, for being able to interpret the urgencies of the contemporary with their work and combining emotional and visual languages effectively.
Yeah, we are still in the category visual art, but we have a video game this time. So the prize goes to The Last Drop by Eleonora Chitti from Italy, and for the creativity of the project, used to bring younger people closer to ecological issues through an inclusive and accessible language from a technical and scientific background.
Now we change to the category song. We have Cambio by Julian Corradini, whose nickname is Julico, also from Italy. Rhythmic exhortation to take personal action for conveying with positive energy the urgency of paradigm change.
Right. Now let's go to the category short tale. Formiguinhas, Hormigas by Flávia Naves from Brazil has been chosen for dealing with the topic of women's work and solidarity among women in a tender and pleasant but still powerful style.
Now we switch to the category poetry. Tela em Branco by Maria do Céu Silva from Portugal for giving voice to and involving the youngest children. A message of concrete hope entrusted to a poem with fresh and effective language.
Right, and let's switch to the category podcast now. Allow me to speak in Portuguese a little bit, because the prize goes to Série Especial do Podcast Educação Financeira para a Vida, As Histórias que Somos.
Well
by
said.
Ana Carolina Fernandes Alves and Augusto Luis Pinheiro Martins from Brazil. So, as part of a larger project, this podcast interestingly devotes several episodes to exploring spiritual and narrative and social capital.
And in the category letter, we have here a tied prize. It's Carta by Guilherme Augusto Oliveira Pedroso and Carta para todos os jovens que olham as oportunidades lá longe do alto dos morros e comunidades by Letícia de Lima da Silva, both from Brazil. For the young age of the authors who bring with vivid realism the reader into their personal experience as a point of observation of major global challenges.
Very good. We now go to another category, which is journaling or diary. So the title is EoF Summer School in Laverna Reflections by Ivana Boyko from Ukraine. It has been chosen for the essential and timely contribution that expresses in an engaging way the lived experience.
And last category, video. EoF Letters Through Time by Nayeli Perez Negron and Marcia King from Mexico and Peru. For such a fresh and original narrative of their friendship, interpenetrated by the story of EoF, and for being a kind of generative fuel for other relationship and renewed commitment.
So congratulations to all of you, but also to all the others who participated, because we really have a full heritage of wonderful piece of art. And especially these were the winner works will be donated to the Pope, and the special prizes are, you can see them, are handicrafts made by the Seraphic children, supported by their assistants. And you know, it's the result. These items represent a path not only creative, but a real rehabilitation process of their manual skills. We know how much they are fragile, so it's a wonderful prize.
Amazing prize. You'll be able to find in the website all the winners and their details, and also some other works selected for each category that have been awarded with these special mentions by the contest committee too. So go there and check it.
Dear friends, I'm writing to invite you to take part in an initiative very close to my heart. With these words of Pope Francis, the story of the economy of Francesco begins on May the 1st, 2019. A wonderful story of which we have told just some wonderful pages today through some of the faces and voices of its actors.
Yeah, and we did it once again here from Assisi. Symbol and message of a humanism, of fraternity and peace under the gaze of the other Francis, the poor man of Assisi. A continuing source of inspiration for all of us, for an economy friendly to the poor and to the earth.
Yeah, and throughout all this time, Pope Francis has always been close to us with trust, friendship and prayer, by giving us every year a new letter, a new message dedicated to the youth of Economy of Francesco, to each one of us, to encourage us to work together and keep dreaming big, to bring out our ideas and dreams, and through them bring prophecy and beauty to the world.
Also this year, Francis has given us new words that we now will listen to.
Carissime e carissimi giovani, è bello ritrovarvi a un anno dall'evento di Assisi e sapere che il vostro lavoro per rianimare l'economia va avanti con frutti, entusiasmo e impegno. Mi avete spesso sentito dire che la realtà è superiore all'idea, e tuttavia le idee ispirano, e c'è un'idea che, sin da quando ero un giovane studente di teologia, mi affascina. In latino si chiama la coincidentia oppositorum, cioè l'unità degli opposti. Secondo questa idea, la realtà è fatta di poli opposti, di coppie che sono in opposizione tra loro. Alcuni esempi sono il grande e il piccolo, la grazia e la libertà, la giustizia e l'amore, e così via. Cosa fare di questi opposti? Certo, si può tentare di sceglierne uno dei due e di eliminare l'altro, oppure, come suggerivano gli autori che studiavo, nel tentativo di conciliare gli opposti si potrebbe fare una sintesi, evitando di cancellare un polo o l'altro per risolverli in un piano superiore, dove però la tensione non sia eliminata. Cari giovani, ogni teoria è parziale, limitata. Non può pretendere di racchiudere o risolvere completamente gli opposti. Così è anche ogni progetto umano. La realtà sfugge sempre. Allora, da giovane gesuita, questa idea dell'unità degli opposti mi sembrava un paradigma efficace per capire il ruolo della Chiesa nella storia. Se ci pensate bene, però, è utile per capire cosa succede nell'economia di oggi. Grande e piccolo, povertà e ricchezza, e tanti altri opposti ci sono anche in economia. Economia sono le bancarelle del mercato, così come gli snodi della finanza internazionale. C'è l'economia concreta, fatta di volti, sguardi, persone, di piccole banche e imprese. E c'è l'economia tanto grande da sembrare astratta, delle multinazionali, degli stati, delle banche, dei fondi di investimento. C'è l'economia del denaro, dei bonus e di stipendi altissimi accanto a un'economia della cura, delle relazioni umane, di stipendi troppo bassi per poter vivere bene. Dov'è la coincidenza tra questi opposti? Essa si trova nella natura autentica dell'economia, essere luogo di inclusione e cooperazione, generazione continua di valore da creare e mettere in circolo con gli altri. Il piccolo ha bisogno del grande, il concreto dell'astratto, il contratto del dono, la povertà della ricchezza condivisa.
Toutefois, ne l'oubliez pas, il y a des oppositions qui n'engendrent aucune harmonie. L'économie qui ne coïncide pas avec une économie qui fait vivre, l'économie des richesses énormes pour quelques-uns, ne s'harmonise pas de l'intérieur avec les trop nombreux pauvres qui n'ont pas les moyens de vivre. Le gigantesque commerce des armes n'aura jamais rien de commun avec l'économie de la paix. L'économie qui pollue et détruit la planète ne trouve aucune synthèse avec celle qui la respecte et la préserve. C'est précisément dans cette prise de conscience que réside le cœur de la nouvelle économie pour laquelle vous vous engagez. L'économie qui tue, qui exclut, qui pollue, qui produit la guerre n'est pas économie. Ce que d'aucuns appellent économie n'est qu'un vide, une absence, c'est une maladie, une perversion de l'économie même et de sa vocation. Les armes produites et vendues pour les guerres, les profits réalisés sur la peau des plus vulnérables et sans défense, comme ceux qui quittent leur terre à la recherche d'un avenir meilleur, l'exploitation des ressources et des peuples qui volent leur terre et leur santé. Tout cela n'est pas économie. Ce n'est pas un bon axe de la réalité à maintenir. Ce n'est que de la tyrannie, de la violence, ce n'est qu'une synthèse et un système prédateur dont il faut libérer l'humanité.
I would then like to propose to you a second idea that is very close to my heart, linked to what I have just told you about the tensions within the economy of the earth and the economy of the way, of the journey. The economy of the earth comes from the first meaning of the word economy, that of caring for the home. Home is not just the physical place where we live, but it is our community, our relationships. It is the cities we inhabit, our roots. We can also say that home is the whole world, the only one we have, entrusted to all of us. By the mere fact of being born, we are called to become guardians of this common home, and therefore, brothers and sisters, of every inhabitant of the earth. Doing economy means taking care of the common home. And this will not be possible if we do not have eyes trained to see the world starting from the peripheries, from the eyes of the excluded, of the least. Until now, the vision of the home that has been imposed has been that of men, of males, and generally men from the West and the North. Among other things, we have neglected for centuries the vision of women. If they had been present, they would have made us see fewer goods and more relationships, less money and more redistribution, more attention to the haves and to the have-nots, more concrete things and fewer abstractions, more substance and less talk. We can no longer continue to exclude different views from economic practice and theory, nor from the life of the Church. Therefore, a special joy of mine is to see how many young women are protagonists of the economy of Francesco. The integral economy is one that is done with and for the poor, in all the different forms of being poor today. The excluded, the invisible, those whose voice is not heard. We need to be there, on the fault lines of history and existence. And for those dedicated to the study of economics, also on the peripheries of thought, which are no less important. So ask yourself, what are the peripheries of economic science today? It is not enough to think only about the poor and for the poor, but with the poor and with those who are excluded. Even in theology, we have too often studied the poor, but we have studied very little with the poor. From being the object of science, they must become subjects, because each person has stories to tell, has a thought about the world. The first poverty of the poor is that they are excluded from having their say, excluded from the very possibility of expressing a thought that is considered serious. This is a matter of dignity and respect, which are too often denied.
Eis, portanto, a economia do caminho. Se olharmos a experiência de Jesus e dos primeiros discípulos, é precisamente aquela do Filho do Homem que não tem onde reclinar a cabeça. Um dos mais antigos modos de descrever os cristãos era aqueles do caminho. E quando Francisco de Assis, muito caro a nós, iniciou a sua revolução, também econômica, somente em nome do Evangelho, tornou-se mendigo, andarilho. Pôs-se a caminhar, deixando a casa do pai Bernardone. Portanto, qual é o caminho para quem quer renovar a economia a partir das raízes? O caminho dos peregrinos sempre foi arriscado, permeado de confiança e também de vulnerabilidade. Aquele que se encaminha deve reconhecer rapidamente que depende dos outros ao longo do percurso. Deste modo, vocês compreendem que a economia também mendiga das outras disciplinas e conhecimentos. E como o peregrino sabe que a sua viagem será empoeirada, assim, vocês saibam que que o bem comum exige um comprometimento que nos faz sujar as mãos. Somente quem ousa sujar as mãos sabe transformar a terra. A justiça é vivida, a caridade é encarnada, e solidários nos desafios, perseveramos com coragem. Ser economistas e empresários de Francisco, hoje, significa sermos necessariamente mulheres e homens de paz. Não ter paz enquanto não houver paz. Queridos jovens, não tenham medo das tensões e dos conflitos. Tentem habitá-los e humanizá-los todos os dias. Eu confio a vocês a tarefa de proteger a casa comum e ter a coragem de caminhar.
Es difícil, pero sé que pueden lograrlo porque ya lo están haciendo. Sé que no es inmediato insertar sus esfuerzos y compartir sus sueños en el seno de sus iglesias y entre las realidades económicas de los territorios que habitan. La realidad parece ya configurada, a menudo impermeable como un terreno sobre el que no ha llovido durante demasiado tiempo. Que no les falte paciencia e ingenio para dejarse conocer y establecer poco a poco vínculos más estables y fructíferos. El deseo de un mundo nuevo está más extendido de lo que parece. No se encierren en ustedes mismos. Los oasis en el desierto son lugares a los que todos deben poder acceder, encrucijadas en las que detenerse y de las que salir distinto. Así que permanezcan abiertos y busquen con determinación y entusiasmo a sus colegas, a sus obispos, a sus conciudadanos. Y en esto les repito, que los pobres los acompañen. Den voz y forma a un pueblo, porque la concreción de la economía y de las soluciones que están estudiando y experimentando involucran la vida de todos. Hay más espacio para ustedes de lo que pueda parecer hoy. Por eso les pido que permanezcan activamente unidos, construyendo sobre cuestiones operativas verdaderos puentes entre los continentes, que saquen definitivamente a la humanidad de la época colonial y de las desigualdades. Den rostro, contenido y proyectos a una fraternidad universal. Sean pioneros desde el interior de la vida económica y empresarial, de un desarrollo humano integral. Confío en ustedes y no olviden nunca que los quiero mucho.
Wow, dear Pope Francis, también nosotros te queremos mucho, de verdad, y te agradecemos por tanto. So a huge thank you. And also thanks to our friends who have given voice to Francis' words, and they let us live this special moment. Now, there's not too many comments to add, actually, except a huge thank you. I don't know, we don't know you at home, but actually here at the small theater, we feel so touched, and we really want to give a strong reply. We are there. We do believe in this new economy with a soul. So we can just respond to Pope Francis with our proactivity and wish to change the world in a serious way. So we don't joke.
Yeah, and to all economists and entrepreneurs who care about peace and justice, we say the economy of Francesco is for each one of them. There are 1,000 ways to live the economy. In the name of Francis and in EoF, there is room for all. Everyone who gets in the process is central. No one is periphery.
Exactly. So we welcome every single word from the Pope and as a live program and a clear map for the future, you know. And now it's really time to say goodbye. So we are grateful once again to all those of you who've been connected, but also organizing local initiatives. We know that you are a lot from Monterrey, Mexico to the Emirates to Bangladesh or many other countries from Africa and all the rest that we can't mention now, but we really send a warm greeting to you all. And now what to say? Just a couple of days of rest and then see you again on Monday.
That's true.
Yeah, so we really invite you to join the community, to keep following, you know, and be part of the change all together, acting in the many places where the economy of Francesco is being built, lived, and experienced. Let me just add a special greetings to our Italians, you know. They are opening the national events just right now. So un carissimo saluto a voi ragazzi, buon evento e ci vediamo presto.
Yeah. I also send a hug to everyone as part of this special ongoing process. Remember, this is an ongoing process. We have come to the end now. And always remember our promise to Pope Francis. We are also his legacy. We are also St. Francis' legacy. Bye to all and see you again
very soon.
Bye bye. Ciao.
Ciao.
Grazie.
Bye.